she's wrong. She's wrong about her own story.
I think so. You know, I'm supposed to like Edward.
But it's the only thing that plays the bizarreness, I feel like.
No, he's in love with
Yeah,
her.
he's in love with her.
Come on.
Yeah.
Or
But it's not
because she
yet.
has a magical baby stored in her body that his werewolf being
The baby has not even
senses because
begun
he's
to
magic.
come to be, though.
Yeah.
But again, by the same logic, you should have some attraction to
To
Edgar.
Yeah.
Let's just call him Edgar.
Okay, I guess, yeah, if we're gonna go all the way.
Yep.
It makes no sense.
Okay.
And you're
Sorry.
frankly, you're trying to take the blame off Bella, okay, and being like, oh, it wasn't her who caused this. No, she caused this.
You're right.
Well, I think
Yeah.
these
Yeah.
fans, God bless them, I think they'd say the same thing in reverse. Maybe that's why. Well, no, I guess
What's the same thing
imprinting only
reverse?
works one way. Never mind. Yeah, no, there's no.
What did you just say?
Well, I was wondering if the baby was pulling her towards Jacob as well, but that's not how imprinting works. So never mind.
She's not a werewolf.
Only
so.
one way.
All right.
Okay, so they do the wedding. She's walking down the aisle. I don't understand what's going on with her face. Okay, they start making out at the altar. I'm like, get some fucking class.
It was yuck.
Oh,
Yuck,
For
yuck.
so long.
everybody's watching.
Edward is apparently the perfect gentleman. I mean, dude, this is some sick fucking
And just a general note about the
shit.
movie. I'd be curious what the total runtime of on-screen making out between these two characters are. It's a substantial percentage of the movie. Probably like 10 to 15% of the movie
Especially
is them
this
kissing.
one.
I'm not mad at that.
It's excessive at a certain
Just-
point.
No,
I mean,
they're
listen.
sweet.
It was kind of gross knowing that she's 18.
Yeah.
All those scenes.
Also, just like kissing like that in front of your dad, especially when you're 18, is like,
Yeah.
girl, really?
I don't think
Or
that
boy, really?
this book is old enough to justify like this being okay. Like everyone who read that book and liked it should be ashamed.
Shame on me.
You are
You're
part
right.
of the problem. Like what year did this
What
book
year
come
did they come out? Well, the movies were late 2000s, early 2010, so I'd imagine the books
Well, you
were like
The one we just watched is from which year? Because there's all
Breaking Dawn release year.
Year is it?
The book. No, wait, this is the movie. When did the fucking book come out?
The movie was 2011.
Right.
2011.
Breaking Dawn. 2008 was the novel.
Just not that long ago, guys. So making at the altar, that's some sick shit. Oh yeah, and like I'm just keep thinking like, he's there, he's beaming, he's so happy, and I'm thinking to myself, there's one soulless guy right there, man. This vampire business sure is gloomy.
Yeah.
What the fuck does it mean to be soulless? He's like,
Yeah.
I'm surrounded by people I love. I'm getting married, and my bride is. What? Did you play something, Zach?
That wasn't me.
What did I hear? Is that Ian? Ian?
I think that was me.
What? Okay, all right.
I'm trying to set for the next segment.
Thank you.
God, I look terrifying.
You look like the pea guy. Who's the pea guy? Who's on he sells green
Oh, the
peas.
Jolly Green Giant?
Yeah.
So some people in the chat are saying they were like 13 when they liked this. So
That's excusable.
that's
I was.
excusable.
But
I was even younger.
That almost makes it worse on the author's part,
Yeah.
right?
No, she's a
Yeah.
sick,
She's like
sick,
now.
sick
Yeah.
puppy.
Yeah.
How old was she when she wrote these books? How about that?
She was old enough.
If she's in her 30s, she needs to be on the list.
Whoa! Do you know, we found out a really crazy piece of trivia. Are you ready?
This
you
is
ready?
essentially lollipop. Let's just call it like it is.
Are you
Want
ready
to
to
know
be,
something worse?
you're gonna get really grossed out by this?
Oh, I think I know what you're gonna say.
Oh, did you see it
What?
on the subreddit
Her
this morning?
brother's name.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Do you want? Okay.
Yes.
Her
Oh.
brother's name, Stephanie Meyer's brother,
The author.
the author of Twilight in real life, is named Jacob.
Disgusting.
Jacob
That's
Edward.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
No way. This is.
No,
You're
no,
kidding?
I'm
Okay.
kidding. She was 32 when she wrote this book.
Okay. Yeah,
Good.
yeah, old enough.
Gross.
She. Dude.
Brother and sister.
Yeah, especially this one. I'm like watching it. I'm like, who is this? Who is this for? Like, because it's
Well,
pretty.
the chat is telling you it's for 13 and 12-year-olds.
But I mean, like all the sex and stuff in this one,
What
like,
about when
and
it
it's
turns
like
into
pretty
softcore
gruesome.
porn for like 30
Yeah.
minutes?
I think she's
That's
writing
what
it.
it is.
I remember enjoying it when I was a kid.
Well, sure,
I was like,
yeah.
oh my god, they're kissing.
It was
doesn't
kind of
get too-
shocking how raunchy it got.
It did get a bit raunchy in the sex scene.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think she's writing it for the same people that watched the first one. They were 13 then, and now how old are they? 17?
They've aged
Yeah.
up a bit, I
That's what
suppose.
grooming is, by the way. You get him? Textbook. All right. Oh yeah, and then the dad that gives a speech, and he says he has a gun, and then the mom starts singing. Weird. I thought is the mom on pills or what?
She looked like.
Like, is she on pills and
I
alcohol?
think she was supposed to be drunk, yeah.
She's all.
No, but
I think
like,
I thought that was funny.
but like she's so absent in general.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Whatever she's on,
She's giving like,
she's
Give,
mixing.
give me some.
yeah, she's giving like a mom on pills.
Yeah, you toasted mom, for sure.
Yeah.
But I just got a sense for why she's so fucked up, because her mom is a drug addict, and her dad is also an alcoholic who's threatening to kill people. Not a joke. He goes, "I have a gun and I'll use it." Not a joke. No laughter. No smiles.
The theater was cracking up.
Well,
It's
I
supposed
wish
to
someone
be.
in the movie
He was
laughed.
being playful.
Didn't look like it, Dan. And then again, I just don't understand this whole thing of like, it's too dangerous for us to have sex, and I just can't get over the fact that he's gonna fucking fuck her to death.
Another pussy dead.
He's gonna pile drive. a hole right
Oh,
there.
yeah, when Jacob got super upset.
That was after they had sex and he like bruised her a
No.
tiny bit.
No, before.
Oh, what
before
happened?
he got super upset at the idea that they're gonna try to have sex.
Yeah.
It was at the wedding.
It was at the wedding.
Right.
What a buzzkill, bro. Just put it in.
But it's like, what are we still talking about? They got married.
Move on.
It was invasive and
Also-
weird.
It was so weird.
Also,
Well, I
like,
think his understanding was that she was then, like, that night supposed to be turned into a vampire, and then they can do whatever they want because she'll be super strong too. But as we
Yeah.
see, I think the concern was that he would, like, accidentally fuck her up, which he kind of does.
no.
I mean,
gave
it
her-
wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't.
You
a
get
huge deal.
bruises like that during normal sex. You don't have to
Very
fuck a
light.
vampire.
I mean, he destroyed the room. He like
Which-
literally like shattered the
Which,
fucking bed
again,
frame.
no consistency at all. He
Right.
shattered the bed, but she has like one bruise that I get those like every day without even noticing.
Yeah, and then when he's
All
giving
those
her
right now.
CPR, he didn't blast a hole in her chest. You think
I
that-
thought of the same thing actually with the
Yeah.
CPR scene. I was like, shouldn't he just like put his hands through her chest right now?
But guys, it's not rocket science. If he's too strong, then let her go on top. Just lay there, Edward.
Right. True.
That's yeah.
Just lay there with your ice cold fucking cock.
Right.
So much fun. Who wants to mount a ice sculpture of a dick?
Right. I'm still unclear on that. That can't like yeah. It doesn't seem like that would.
Okay, let's move
enjoyable,
on.
right?
Her mom's on pills. This whole time I can't tell what she's thinking. Why is it so dangerous? 1/3. So we're through a 1/3 through the movie. I'm expecting something to happen during the wedding. I was expecting like something to interrupt them or I don't know. But it goes off fine. Everyone's happy. I said, okay, interesting. Then they go on the honeymoon. Travel to Brazil, traveling around.
He loves Rio, man.
Why does he like Rio so much? What's in Rio?
Yeah, I don't know.
Wish we knew.
Well, apparently his like slave plantation.
Yeah, that was
Good
that was
memories.
weird.
They just had.
Good memories. Me and my Confederates used to come down here and
Yeah.
Well, they just
look
own
at the
this giant
inventory.
island and they show up and it's like immaculately kept. And I guess they do later show.
Wait, he owns that place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was like the family's
Oh, I
place.
thought he was at like an Airbnb.
No,
No.
No, the lady sensed that they were
That's
vampires
why
because she
I
knows
was
the
like-
family,
I was like,
and she like
gee,
feels it.
this life really seems miserable. I was telling you,
Soulless.
because like
Soulless existence.
they had this like gorgeous house on a private island.
Yeah.
Like you can walk out to the beach. The house is like contemporary, fully furnished, really beautiful.
Perfect.
Gorgeous house.
Explain
Gorgeous.
that. It makes
Perfect,
no
a
sense.
perfect vacation house. Yeah. But they're rich, I mean, so somewhat easy to explain.
But like, I don't see any downsides to being a vampire.
No.
Well, there
They
was
say
a
he
major.
doesn't have a soul, but he does.
And the other major downside, the only tangible downside, because like you say, the other thing is the soul thing, which is like that's never really expanded upon what that's going to mean.
Yeah.
But the other big downside is that you can't have kids, which then just turns out to
That's
be
also not
completely incorrect.
Yeah.
So they're
Yeah.
so
It's
I
like,
guess
did you
there
guys
isn't a
even
downside.
try? Did any of you vampire fucks even try? Or are you just eating humans and not fucking them?
Well, because she was a human.
Uh-huh.
I'm saying, have vampires not
What
tried
about
having
it?
sex with humans? Like all of a sudden, you know what I mean?
So
Yeah,
well,
Why do they
I
talk
mean,
so
it's not
confidently?
common because the Cullens aren't common. You know, not killing humans.
No, but is the idea that nobody has ever tried fucking a human?
Edward didn't want to because it could be dangerous to Bella. He could kill her.
Yeah, but in general, in the
Like it's just
serious-
never
They say it's
happened before.
impossible. What
No-
is their
no
scientific
vampire-
method?
No vampires have ever tried it.
How many coitus post trans?
So we're having a little
coituses
vampire
do we
side
have?
discussion.
Go ahead.
I think I must have missed a few.
No, I was just saying because she stepped outside for a moment.
Oh, so yeah, I was just saying it. I found it crazy that supposedly nobody has ever tried it.
Well,
Well,
I guess
I
the
don't know.
person who says that is that the other vampire, the sister or whatever. I guess it's
Rosalie?
Rosalie, right? So maybe is it only the women vampires become infertile? The men can still have babies.
He's
They're
shooting
fine.
fat fucking icy loads.
It's also against vampire law as well.
Oh, it's
Who
against
cares
the
about that?
law.
Nobody cares about the vampire law.
Weird that they like. I guess he's a vampire, so he doesn't think about it. But they didn't even like talk about a condom. There wasn't even a conversation.
It
Yeah,
seemed
I
like
mean,
the
there you
assumption
go.
was that they can't have kids.
Yeah.
They were like shocked by it.
Damn.
But we do know from this that he does blow a load.
Yes,
Yeah.
We've inferred that 100%.
And it's an icy
Is it
load.
cold? Is it cold?
I
It's like it comes
wonder.
out like icy texture.
It's his venom.
like do you think
She
it's
never
slush?
looks cold, by the
Come
way.
venom.
it comes out like
I'm getting to
like
that.
Like a
a Slurpee.
7-Eleven Slurpee.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Clear Slurpee.
It's probably black Slurpee.
Yes.
Just saying.
Again, how could that be enjoyable for Bella?
I
I'm
don't
getting
know.
to that. I'm getting to that. Okay.
What the experience? They're consummating the
Don't
marriage.
tell
Yeah.
us to wait till the next movie, you guys. We are judging what we saw.
Yeah, in this movie.
Okay. So
Yeah, in this one. Yeah.
anyway, we're a third through the fucking movie. It's been like 50 minutes and nothing, and I mean nothing, has driven this plot forward.
Yeah, not.
And I'm like,
Ridiculously.
holy shit. And then they're cuddling, they're in bed, and I'm like, he is not cold. I know they say he's cold,
Yeah.
and I'm supposed to believe that, but he is not cold. That's a fucking lie. That's a lie. Why are they lying to us? There's no shot. If he was cold, she'd be like, don't touch me, dude. Oh, I'm
Yeah.
trying to sleep. You can't touch me when
Or
I'm
she'll
sleeping.
be sleeping with like a hoodie or something, right?
No shot. And then she's just gonna crawl on top of his ice cold body and get fucking. Imagine getting freezer brain in your fucking pussy. You know what I mean? I can only imagine.
That's crazy.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly. Speechless.
They ask, do vampires pee? Well, they don't.
They must.
They must.
They consume liquid, so
Right.
they must be. They must shit too, frankly, because there's a lot in blood that they're digesting.
I guess so.
They must shit and piss.
they're basically a human being with superpowers and a lot of money.
Oh yeah, and they don't have to sleep, which I'm like, that sounds fucking awesome. Like, if I didn't have to sleep and I never got tired, that would be lit. I would be, dude. Imagine all the extra video game time you'd have.
I don't know. I don't know about that. It's kind of boring.
I
What?
love to
Really?
sleep.
Is being
How,
awake
how do you do
boring?
it
Oh my
24/7?
God, I
If
would
you don't get
love it.
tired, you get twice the.
Yeah, you don't get tired and you
Yeah.
feel alert all the time and like.
I
But when
would
you're
love it.
when you're alive for eternity, I feel like I sometimes I just want to
Sleepy
chill
animal.
out and
So would you choose to be asleep instead of being awake during the day?
not during the day, but if I could have a nap sometime,
Definitely.
You could lay
or
down
just
and
to
relax.
kill some
I'm with you on
time.
that.
Yeah.
You could lay down and relax.
I would miss the feeling of like falling into a sleep. I really enjoy
But
it.
you never get tired. So you don't have
Right, and I would be like, oh, I'll never feel that
Don't
again.
you ever like
I wouldn't
wake up
care.
super early and then you get so much done?
And I feel
like, when
amazing. Yeah, it was
nobody's
yesterday.
messaging you, there's no emails, there's no messages.
Yeah,
I love that.
you're
So
right.
it's like that. It's like your special alone time.
It's a tough choice, and I think that that one would be healthier for me mentally. So I guess I would choose the vampire option.
Dude, imagine if Einstein didn't have to sleep.
He gets
We'd
so
be,
much.
we'd be
Just have
traveling
world
on the
peace.
stars. Just saying. It takes me so long to drink this.
Me too.
It's this protein shake that I get
hard.
in the morning, and it's just very icy and thick. And the straw is not very sucky.
Like
taking a load to my mouth. Every time, baby. Okay, if it would happen, you know, if he was really cold, they would have to fuck through like a sheet, like the Orthodox Jews do. They have to fuck through like a blanket with a hole in it.
Yes, that's very
Right,
true.
the Joker?
Yes, that's very true.
There you go.
Thank you. This has been fact checked by a real
We have live fact checkers.
I actually sell those.
There'd have to be like a heating blanket in between them.
That could help. I mean,
And
ultimately.
then we'd also have to like probably warm up his cock a little bit, like put it in boiling water for, maybe not boiling, but really hot water for like 10 minutes to make it work. But like, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that.
Well, all that could have happened off screen, I guess.
No, it didn't. Don't lie. She just walks up to him on the beach, and they go in the ocean, start I was like, you are really about to lose your virginity in the ocean?
Me too. I was like, surely that's not about to happen right now. And thank God it didn't. Thank God it didn't.
Nobody told you don't fuck in the ocean?
To rinse off first, still.
Certainly.
Yeah.
So yeah, then they have sex, and she has like some extremely light bruising, and he just starts bitching and moaning and being a little baby as usual. Such a turnoff.
And she's like, I'm into it.
I know.
Bro, you could get bruises like that during sex without a vampire. It just wasn't that serious.
By the way, from the beginning, she's been down with everything he says. He's like, I've killed. I'm into it. Hot. I'll bruise you a little bit. Let's go again.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's go again.
Yeah.
She's just down.
She was begging for it at one point. You know?
She said she was okay. Like, that was a great experience for her.
She was fine. I don't know why he's such a bitch.
Yeah, that was annoying.
He's
I'm
He's ruining the special
It was
moment.
annoying.
Yeah, he's ruining the moment.
You're victim blaming. All of you.
Who's the victim? I'm blaming him.
I'm just kidding. Go ahead, Team Jacob. Continue.
I'm still Team Jacob. Well, up to the end, we'll talk about that, but I still think this poor guy is a victim. I think Jacob's a victim.
Really?
Absolutely.
We'll get there.
Absolutely, man. Let's see. She seems annoyed all the time on the honeymoon, doesn't she?
Well, she
Yes.
seemed annoyed that he was being a moody bitch.
Yeah.
Sounds like a terrible honeymoon.
At some point, there was a scene where they all went out or both of them went out dancing in public, and it was just like they should not be in front of any. Like, it was just like they don't belong with anybody. They're not supposed to be around regular people ever.
Yeah.
It was so weird. They were just dancing, and I was like, I don't think anybody wants to.
No.
I don't know. They just didn't look fun
No.
next to all the regular people. I wanted to hang out with them.
Then, like, what does he eat? Like, this motherfucker just cruises around, and we're not going to talk about how he gets food. Isn't that kind of important? Like, he needs to eat. What is he doing about that? He just doesn't have to eat. I mean, that doesn't.
They're
make any
eating the
sense.
dogs.
That's an important part of being a vampire. What's he doing about it? Did
No,
he
he
travel
did.
with blood? No.
He left a note on the kitchen counter that said, "Gone hunting. I'll be back soon."
Oh, that's true.
Oh.
There was.
Oh,
yeah,
that
I
was
forgot
when
that.
she's
He did-
cooking
he
When
found
she
that
ate
out
the
at one
chicken.
point.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wonder what he's eat in Brazil.
Kids.
I wonder, can he eat fish? Probably. Probably needs to be a mammal.
There might be some small.
He goes a little
mammals
bit
on that
crazy
island.
in Brazil. Brazil, treat yourself, kids.
Anyway.
51 minutes, nothing's happened. He's asking.
I paused around a similar time and kind of noted that to myself as well. I took a bathroom break. I think
Half
at like
the way
45
through.
minutes, I'm like, barely
Yeah.
anything has gone on in this movie so far.
And I was thinking to myself, part one, this could have been one movie easily. Easily.
Definitely milking it. And then he starts. So she starts. He finds out something's wrong with her. She thinks she's pregnant. He asks the fucking cleaning lady for help. He's like, please, you have to help me. I know there's local rumors and rituals. You have to know what to do. It's like, what? She's some random fucking lady.
What,
Well, no,
but
she's part of
Well,
the
she
Takuna
seemed to have
tribe.
like special powers too.
Well,
I don't
yeah,
know.
or she's at least familiar with like vampires.
Why?
So, or the-
because she's indigenous, Ethan.
That's what
That
they
is
said.
what
What's
So she's
indigenous
heard- she's
people
heard
do in this
legend.
universe because Stephanie Myers is super fucking racist.
Yeah, like why does he think that she knows about
She's a
vampires?
magical native.
She
And also-
somehow could tell that Bella was dying, which was
Yeah.
true.
And it wasn't hard to tell. She looked like shit.
Well, also we just wanted to know if there's anything that can be done because they've never been in this situation before. They didn't think it was
Why would he
possible
ask
for her
her? What the fuck does she know?
to see if she's
She's
heard
native.
anything before, like over the years, if she's heard legends of this.
No, he
Which
wasn't.
she
like,
had.
He didn't ask that.
He was
like,
right.
Please, you have to help me. You have to do something. And she's like, listen, I just fucking work here. I just clean the floor.
Didn't you think it was so rude after they had sex when the entire bedroom was like destroyed and like feathers all over the place? The cleaning people walk in, there's like, good luck. And
Well-
then they walk out. It was like, they are so cruel to service people.
Now that I know they own it, I don't feel that as bad.
I still don't like it. They didn't even say, sorry, it's a little bit crazy. They were just like, have fun.
I got the feeling that that happens a lot,
Not for Edward. This is his first time.
which is not making any sense.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't know, man. How do you guys feel about anyone who's not white has magical powers?
Yeah.
That's great.
I really had that like with Jacob's tribe. Like there was an obvious element of like sloppy like white lady trying to write, natives and being somewhat disrespectful, but it still felt like it was probably not like malicious necessarily. When that happened in this movie, I'm like, okay, lady, like this is kind of getting
Quick,
real.
I need an ethnic person. my wife is in danger. Send me someone of a small minority group that looks tribal.
Well, also there's nobody else, literally no one else there that he could consult on it.
Well, who cares? You don't ask the fucking taxi driver to like how to perform brain surgery. Like the motherfucker doesn't know anything about it. It's not. Why would it even be in her wheelhouse?
But it was.
If he wants to know.
But it was, Ethan.
Yeah,
They were
was.
right.
Was
She
it?
knew.
No,
Well, she knew about
didn't
like
even
the
help.
they
She
had
just
well.
goes, the bitch is dying.
She didn't help because she was too scared, but she did seem to like
She
have
did see
knowledge
what
of
was
vampire
happening.
lore,
She was
right?
right.
And she predicted properly in
Yeah.
saying that like death was upon them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the entire rest of the movie was
Listen,
about.
that lady
She
was
was right.
alarmist from the beginning. She was already like, oh, something bad, somebody's dying. Like she's a nosy body.
By
and
the
now-
way,
She's paranoid. Yeah.
And also
why is
just-
she paranoid? Because this must have happened many times before.
You think Edward's gotten other humans pregnant?
I mean, that's even the insinuation.
Yeah.
She was worried about the girl.
Carlisle's Island's like Epstein Island.
Yes. It's like they have the house there for this reason.
Mm.
And I mean, the couple that was taking care of it looked like maybe in their 60s. I mean, imagine he hired them when they were 20, right? We've been working there 40 years. I mean, how many rituals have they been through by now?
And and he says that. He says she's worried that something's gonna happen to you.
Yeah, I wonder why is she so worried? Like he didn't care about that. He's fucking and killing women. He's a serial killer,
Mm.
and he's,
He's a
pedophile.
virgin.
Supposedly.
Yeah, he's a virgin, I'm sure. And I'm the Pope.
Well, he came from older times, so it was a
old.
different culture back then.
So did Jimmy Lee.
So did Jack the
Okay,
Ripper.
Right.
That's a good point.
Pull up the picture, Dan, of her pregnant.
What's that?
Well, I sent a picture of her pregnant.
Oh, it's in the doc. Do you want to pop that
You
open?
guys got to see this.
In the Breaking Dawn.
I don't see. I'll send it one sec.
Oh, this one had a 26% on Rotten Tomatoes, so this one was not highly regarded by critics.
None of them are.
Well,
to be
this one
clear.
seems to be particularly low, though. Go ahead and load anytime you want.
Anytime.
60% is pretty rough, too, from the audience.
Even the audience, yeah. Well, I mean, it's still fresh. Overall positive.
60
What
bad.
did the last one have? Because the last one was probably my least favorite of all of them.
I think people like that one.
The-
You can believe that.
Yeah. I noticed the.
Why?
This is awesome. 4.9 out of 10. That's what's up.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
That's good shit. I've noticed that the critic consensus has actually been the inverse of at least my personal level of enjoyment. Because I will say, I did enjoy watching this one more than the last one.
Me too.
I'll tell
Because there
you
was
why.
more like bonker shit in this one that was like funny to laugh at. The last one was just boring as
The
fuck.
last one was so boring.
Yeah.
I think the only reason it felt more watchable is because like the tech was more modern. Like it felt like it was produced in a way that was more palatable. That's how I felt. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
All right, here, check this out. So So this is them in the hotel or the vacation house before they go back. This I had to pause. The internet is goofy. Hello?
Where'd you send it? I can open it on my end.
It's just, I'm on, trying to open
In
it on
Discord?
Twitter.
Got it.
This one.
Hello.
I don't know if it's a Twitter thing. Yeah, zoom in on that. Zoom in on that.
What's that? Odd here.
Okay. What the fuck is this? It literally looks like they just took a kickball and put it in like her stomach, and not even in the right spot. It's like way too low.
Hold on a second. There's a lot going on here. Yeah, I can't show that screen right now. I'm sorry. You got to open it on your end.
Okay.
Try again.
All of our setup is rejiggered right now.
Why is it doing this? All right, hold on. Let me try incognito. Yeah, I don't know why, but Twitter is not working. Will not load anything for me. Why is that? Does it work for you guys?
Twitter?
Yeah.
Let's see.
Here, I just rejiggered it. Here, I should be able to show now. Ethan Pitt, Dan Call. There you go. Okay, we're seeing it now. We got there. Apologies, people.
All right.
Yeah.
This is so bad. This is the dumbest looking prosthetic I've ever seen in my life. And I kept thinking, like, maybe it's just because it's a vampire pregnancy, but no, that's not it.
I thought the body horror was really good.
This shot looks so dumb.
But then you see it like without the clothes on top, and the way that the veins are sculpted and like the way her body is contorted. I felt that it was like,
what about this?
it's the most immersed I've been. This is it looks a bit ridiculous, but then you see it later and you're like,
Looks
my
like they put a
suspension of
fucking
disbelief.
kickball under her skirt or shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's again, trying to show how skinny she is because the baby's sucking her life energy away.
I thought in the face they did really well. Like she immediately started to look really bad.
Yeah.
That's true, yeah.
That was good.
Yeah.
But this was just kind of like there's just a ball in her shirt.
This looks like
Like a test shoot. Okay, whatever. Let me look at my notes here. 15 minutes, asking for help. You have a connection with her I'll never understand. They get back home, and this motherfucker looks Jacob in his face and says, she needs you. You have a connection with her I'll never understand.
You're like falling out of the frame right now.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, just...
Yeah. No, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Just let
He
him
has not
smash.
learned the lesson.
Just let him smash. I'm so over trying to criticize. Like, it's insane. She's dumb. They're all dumb. They're all crazy. And somehow Jacob's the bad guy. He's the victim. They're both fucking with him.
Dumb.
He goes, you have a connection with her I'll never understand. And I was thinking, me either. I'll never understand that shit. I don't get it at all. She tells Jacob, don't go. Stupid. Disgusting. The wolf plot is so forced. I already explained that. They're just like, we gotta kill him, guys. We were 10 friends 10 minutes ago, but we need to kill all of them. And everyone's like, okay, I get you.
And they choose to do so by creating like a siege situation. They just surround the house.
Because they found out, because Jacob, I guess they were planning on blitzing it, but Jacob warned them.
Right.
Right.
You know. They're doing attrition war.
I guess so.
Attrition warfare.
Right, they're like starving them out.
Bathroom.
And then there's a scene after that. Okay, hold on. I feel complete when you're here. Jacob is so cucked. Why do the wolves so confident the baby's evil? Why do the wolves think the baby's evil? What the fuck do they know?
Exactly. Nobody even knew that they could get pregnant. Everybody like kind of just falls in line.
Who says the baby's evil?
And who said that having a baby is breaking the truce? That's what I wasn't really wrapping my head around.
It's just like creating a new vampire.
That wasn't part of the truce. That wasn't in the truce.
Well, it poses
They
a
said no.
threat to them because the newborn baby won't be able to control their thirst for blood, and they're just going to be attacking humans.
I mean, I don't
think
know how they could
that's in
possibly
the next
know
one.
that.
That's explained in the next one.
That's
But
a huge
in this
assumption.
too.
in this one,
Yeah, when the wolves gather and are talking about why they need to go after the Cullens now. It's because and first they think the baby killed Bella already. And so they're like, this baby's gonna, wreak havoc on the town and kill all these.
It's a baby.
Right,
Yeah.
but it's
Just
a
grab it by the
magic
legs
baby.
and smash that
It's a
thing, bro.
vampire baby who has like
It
a
won't be
deep
a
thirst
threat
for
a
blood.
minute.
But they
Okay,
don't-
that's an
Beautifully said.
assumption.
All of that is like just a
Yeah.
big assumption.
And by the
Well,
way,
no,
that's a
I
big
thought they
assumption
said
to make
that.
when you're killing a baby.
True.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? Let's check.
Yeah, you like give it a chance first, and they're not even willing to do that.
The
Yeah, it
phones-
seemed like
the
there was
phones are
no
so reasonable.
discussion.
Yeah.
They would have been like, you can come in and watch, and if the baby goes crazy, then we can talk about it.
Mhm.
Right.
Like the Colons are super chill.
Yeah, they didn't seem like they wanted to fight.
Oh, someone in chat said no, it's because a Cullen hurt a human.
Who? Which? No.
Is
it was
that like he hurt Bella by
No,
like
it said the vampire
killing
can't
her?
That was
Feast on
another
human.
thing. They said if Bella dies, then the truth. If she's turned to a vampire, that also breaks the truth.
But I
Yeah.
think
No,
they got
Jacob
over
said
it.
that.
I thought they were.
Yeah, I think they allowed that. I
Yeah,
think
at the
by
wedding,
this-
everybody
yeah.
knew she was gonna turn, like everybody, including Jacob and the werewolves.
Right.
It was like
I see.
chill.
Yeah.
So they're already doing willy nilly with this so-called truce.
It just seems like there should have been a negotiation stage before straight to siege warfare, you know?
Jacob sees them all happy together, and he still gets butthurt. And I'm like, I'm so sick of this movie. There's a shot of them like embracing and feeling happy, and Jacob walks up and he gets all butthurt. And I'm like, dude, get the
Get
fuck
over it. Get over it, bro.
I can't do this. This is so dumb. This is the fifth. This is the fourth fucking movie.
Right.
I can't deal with this
I don't know how to
sullen
end this.
butthurt Jacob. Like, let's get some character development, please. 4 fucking movies. Can we get a little bit of character development?
Well,
God damn.
we got it at the end, I guess.
Yeah, Jacob
We'll
says.
see.
I
I
guess
don't
I can
Develops,
see.
all right.
She's gonna turn into a vampire and be the same fucking dumbass, obnoxious, moody teenager.
Jacob says at one point that he could see now that they're actually a family. I'm sorry, my teeth are falling out like pounds of stones. But yeah, he says I guess that's some character development, something.
That's pretty desperate. But,
Yeah.
okay. But yeah, I can't handle him being butthurt over them anymore. Like I can't. I literally can't do it.
I mean,
Just, bro. Just take a silver bullet to the fucking dome and just get out of this movie.
there's been no mention of the silver bullet stuff. Well, again, they're not actually werewolves.
Okay, whatever. Who cares?
They're shapeshifters.
Why is Jacob so butthurt? And then he starts. Okay, when he's delivering the baby, he like bites her, like her crotch.
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, rips her like womb open with his teeth.
Why?
I don't know. It was fucking insane. and I
Because
laughed
the
They
out
had
baby
her
loud.
out.
the baby was being choked.
Yeah, but he's really strong. He can use his hands. Why would his teeth?
Or like the medical tools all around, or
Because his teeth are sharp.
it's crazy. Fuck the
This is magic.
I don't know.
That, no,
In
that
their
scene
mouth
that
first?
scene is fucking insane. And
Yeah, no.
right
I
before it
can't
happens, when her like back breaks and then her ribs
Oh my
break and then
God.
her
That was
legs.
awesome.
I watched that back. I thought it was so funny.
It's crazy.
Did you guys talk about the blood already?
No, no,
Drinking
no.
the blood?
I thought it looked so
drinking the blood
delish.
when she was pregnant.
Yeah.
So gross.
I
No.
couldn't. I was just like squirming the whole time.
Yeah.
No, I
Said
need
looks
it.
good.
It looks delicious. It looks like thick, like cherry snow cone syrup.
It probably was that.
I know, and I
Similar.
would love some right now.
So it just was very confusing that he went and bit her genitals because the biting of a vampire it has a very specific meaning. Is he switching her? Is he trying to do something with his venom?
Yeah, I was
No,
confused
apparently,
about that.
apparently not. And so why the fuck did you bite her?
It's like a bag of chips. You tear the edge to get it open so that he could get the little starting ripped in her
Is-
fucking.
Well,
Or
yeah, I
womb.
guess so.
Is
Maybe.
that before they make the executive decision to turn?
That's what I was confused. I
No.
was like, is he trying to turn her?
He's trying to turn her at the last moment. That's
so
why
like
he
at
had
the
his
same
venom
time,
ready.
he's trying to get the
After he
baby
bit her.
and turn her.
No, the biting was the biting trying to turn.
That was
her?
Oh,
Not
no,
the
no,
first
no,
one.
that
I don't
was
think so.
that was just trying to get the baby out.
That was a
So
method.
that was
Oh,
so
Jesus.
confusing.
Yeah,
But
careless.
He has
Weird.
to get the baby out before he turns her, or the
Come
baby
on,
will
he's
die.
I think
But
the
isn't biting-
embryonic sac, is that what it's called? I think it was thicker than a usual one because it was a vampire baby.
It's made
But
of
isn't
lead,
the biting
evidently.
gonna turn her? Like, isn't that the action?
Yeah,
of
Oh,
right?
no, he bit her before when he was extracting the venom from what was the character she got bit by, Bella?
James.
James, yeah.
He was just sucking,
He was
if I'm not
sucking it.
mistaken.
So I feel like he has control over that.
You know,
but yeah, he
snakes,
definitely
they
Dude,
can,
he
like,
bit her fucking
control the
pussy.
venom.
Why are we normal about
Ouch.
that? It was
Yeah,
weird
that
as
was-
hell.
yeah, that was
It
weird.
didn't drive the plot forward, and it was just confusing.
Well, it
Like
wasn't a
again, more
typical-
fetish shit.
Yeah, but it wasn't a typical delivery process. Like,
True.
you know, there was some, you know, other strategies needed to
Right.
save this.
And
Teeth.
how did they not plan better to have Carlisle there
Idiot.
at the
Yeah.
moment?
I think because I was wondering about that too. I don't know if Carlisle was on a separate.
He was hunting.
Yeah, he was hunting with
Yeah,
Emmett,
but,
and
like-
Send someone else to hunt.
I don't think it
Yeah.
wasn't. I think they were going to get more blood for
Oh yeah,
Bella,
he
weren't
get more
they?
blood. Yeah.
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 You would
Send someone
think
else. You're the doctor, damn it.
Yeah.
Yeah, couldn't he have just ordered some? Like, couldn't he have called up the hospital and said he has a patient and needs
Yeah.
some blood delivered?
That might be a little sus.
Well, I mean, it's life. It's literally life and death.
Well, it'd be faster to send a vampire because they're fast, but why him? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
That's like when
true.
you're watching Star Trek and then like the captain goes on these dangerous expeditions. It's like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?
Yeah, good point.
Makes no sense. Yeah, so she's in. So that's a weird fetish thing. The biting of the genitals. That's weird. More sickness. Okay, and then I was just. I really wanted her to just die. I'll be honest.
Yeah, we were both like, it would be nice if she just died now.
I would like the movie
No.
more if she died.
Well,
I would watch the second part without her.
I felt inspired by her. The fact that like everyone was like, "You need to get rid of this baby," but she felt like an emotional connection. And then Edward's like felt her stomach, and he's like, "Oh, this baby's like you. It's pure and innocent. It's not like me." So she
She's not
kept.
pure and innocent. What's pure and innocent about
Well,
her?
like the baby, he sensed that the baby was not a vampire, or not like him at least. He sensed some human in the vampire, in the baby. So
Right.
I love that Bella, like, she fought for her baby when everyone's like, "You need to get rid of this fetus. It's killing you."
That's fine. It would have been more noble
That's
for her to just
beautiful.
die in birth. You know,
But look, if
we
she
might
didn't
actually have a
give it
chance of making an interesting part two, where maybe it's like the baby is the character and Edward and something, you know. But no, it's got to be. We got to deal with now annoying vampire Bella. It's gonna be so stupid.
I was telling Ethan when she finally does turn, I was like, I hope that she's gonna be a little bit less awkward now, maybe.
I'm like, no.
Vampire
see.
Bella.
What'd
Is
you
she
guys
gonna be a
think of
little
the?
bit different?
What'd you
She's
guys think
hot.
of the CGI face of the baby?
It was fast. I guess I didn't really look at it that
Okay.
much. That's when he.
It looked weird.
You'll see in the next one.
Yeah, a little bit of it I saw. It looked
I
weird.
saw somebody in chat say he bit her where you would cut for a C-section.
Right. Yeah, I
Which
understood.
is like,
Dude.
yeah.
Dude. That's like a doctor has teeth. They're sharp. You see doctors
Not
going down there.
vampire sharp,
True.
I guess.
Vampires have sharp claws. Everything.
Jagged edges. Yeah, not nice for scarring.
I think they want to go somewhere, and then they. Oh yeah, I was saying about this movie is like, you think they couldn't go any lower and weirder, and then they go right to that. And what I'm talking about, of course, is the imprinting on the baby.
All right, let's get into it.
Yeah.
So the baby's born. Jacob goes inside
To go kill it.
to go kill it, I guess.
Yeah.
And
Which
He-
I was surprised by. I know he said that earlier in the movie, but I thought he was just saying that to the wolves to distract. them. It like,
gonna kill it. I think
Like I thought he was lying in
thought
that
he was
scene.
gonna-
and
He
it's
was
like, at the
lying.
end,
Yeah, he was lying.
He's
in
like,
that
"Oh
scene.
no, actually, I'm going to murder this baby."
I'll
right
say
now."
I'll
Yeah.
say on Jacob's part, he
It's
was
both.
he was firmly on their side. He was standing up for the right thing. He was doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And still somehow everyone's shitting on Jacob. He can't control if he wants to fuck a newborn child.
After wanting to kill it.
Okay.
It's in him. He imprinted on it.
Well, he didn't want to
So-
kill the baby until he found out that Bella died.
Okay, wait. So
So that's when
the
it switched.
baby's born.
Mhm.
He looks at the baby. He imprints on the baby.
He came
Not
in his pants
immediately.
when he saw a baby's face.
What?
You
As
understand?
soon as he saw the baby's face, he did. Yeah.
He literally
yeah.
jizzed in his jeans.
So,
The author is psycho, dude.
anybody wants to explain imprinting on a baby?
Okay, it is fucking insane. I'm not defending it, but I will say I caught this time watching it because I was waiting for you guys to see it. When he's saying those cheesy lines, Jacob, when he's like describing imprinting, he says it could be like a brother or like a protector, and I guess that's their way of saying he's. I don't know. He wants to fuck a baby. I don't know what to say.
I actually did catch that too. That it seemed, even though every other time they've brought up imprinting in this series, it's been in the context of like a
Of a
romantic
relationship.
relationship.
And in this movie,
But then when it happens with the baby, they like, I think very consciously were like a protective older brother role was like kind of how like it's explained in that moment,
it's just
which I
again,
think was their way of pulling their punch.
terrible
They-
writing.
They
Yeah,
never
no,
explain
definitely that.
All you see is the left triangle of those other people in the wolf.
Yeah, in the very beginning, all their couples are like imprint, or I don't know if they're
Yeah,
imprinted,
and
but
there's
they were
no-
associating it with being in a romantic love.
Yeah, and they're showing the one girl that's being left out because of it.
Also,
Right.
it sounds so extreme. Why would you want to imprint on some random kid?
I have a question.
Like,
Is
what's the joy in that?
what changes the wolves from wanting to kill them to not? Like,
It's-
is it a
yeah.
sacrifice that he
It's
made?
their most
They can't
sacred
do
rule.
it then.
Their most absolute rule.
It's
So
the most
it's
absolute rule
Jacob's
that we've never heard of
sacrifice.
until now, right?
Right.
Again,
So I
Until this
thought about
moment.
that, but they said that they don't choose who to imprint on.
Yeah.
no.
Oh, so it's
It
not an
just
active
happened.
choice to
No,
save them.
it was
No.
not an active choice.
do all
Stephanie,
werewolves imprint?
Easy layup, Stephanie Meyer. That
Yeah.
would have been a great
That's a way better way to
storyline.
do it.
Like as a way to save the
Yeah.
baby.
And then it gives Jacob redemption because he's been like an ass this entire movie.
But
Right.
she's not into that. She's into like some weird freaky shit.
And it also would
Yeah,
have been
she does like a
that
freak.
what you described, while better, also would have required like some setup and establishment.
Yeah,
This,
right.
this movie
We
is
should
just
write it.
full of terrible, lazy writing. It's like you're literally introducing plot points to explain something that's happening right now. Like, yeah, oh, okay, the war's over. I imprinted. It's like, oh, okay, I guess that's a rule.
Yeah.
So dumb. And like, maybe it'd be more interesting if he was trying to fuck the baby. Let's be real. Let's be real about it right now. And the whole next movie is him trying to fuck a baby and them trying to stop him.
You're not too far off.
And they're like, dude, you can't fuck a baby, man. What's wrong with you?
That's your argument.
He's like, I can't control it. I've imprinted.
I've imprinted.
They're like,
Not my
dude,
fault.
that's so sick. What the fuck?
Yeah, it's
Baby
psycho.
wants.
Is imprinting ever a bad thing for the imprintee?
Well,
when
clearly,
you're a baby and
when
it's
you're
an
a
older
baby.
man.
And then he started having these delusions about her when she's like grown up and beautiful. He was gonna fuck her. And by the way, he's gonna be old as shit when she's 18.
Still,
She ages.
yes, still
Oh.
younger than Edward is to Bella right now, though.
True.
Ironically.
True. Well, he'll look old.
But he will visually.
Sure,
look
right.
old.
He actually will age. That's true.
Yeah.
Gross and cringe.
There's a lot I want to say. I don't want to spoil.
No spoils.
Hey, there's a part 2 coming. I
You'll
know.
see.
I know. I'm
He
sure.
imprinted on a baby.
It's crazy.
How is this a movie?
The thing is, if
Jail.
I was writing a book in which one of the main characters imprints on the baby, I would be laying the groundwork for that since the very fucking beginning, so that there was no goddamn confusion that this man was trying to fuck a newborn child.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think she's that kind of author.
No.
I mean, we know this. She started writing this based off a dream. So I'm pretty sure we talked about it a little bit in the last.
Does she have an editor?
movie. I think she just has like a scene she really likes in mind, and then works backwards from that. Like in the last movie with the tent scene, it's like, oh, I got this great scene, and like everything is just kind of convoluted to get to that end
I
point.
feel like you can
Yeah.
you can work that way if you're not an idiot.
My dream
Also-
goes
Sure.
on my
Yeah,
maternal
true.
grandmother's.
Wolves
mean-
age slowly. I forgot about that as well.
Oh, they live long?
Yeah.
Oh.
Not like
What about her-
vampire long, but
What about the dad who's not a vampire? Does he die? Of
you mean he's
normal-
not a wolf?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got the
He's
short
so
end of the stick
pathetic.
all around.
That dad is so pathetic. Dead weight.
He's nice though.
He's dead weight.
He's one of
man.
the only characters that like just seems normal and.
Yeah, and guess
Yeah.
what?
Alright.
He's literally worthless in every scene he's in.
Well, I guess you could say that about Charlie too. He's just like,
No, he furthers the plot.
He
Now
told
kill.
he told the old story about the lady who stabbed herself in the stomach so that Bella could use that at the end of the movie.
true.
True.
That was one thing he did.
True.
Right.
I gotta tell you guys,
He imprinted on a baby, you guys.
I know it's ridiculous.
I gotta tell you guys, I hate these films. I hate watching them. I genuinely feel like when I have to watch one of these in the evening, I have to really force myself
We're
to do it.
depressed about it.
I feel like I'm wasting my whole night.
Last time you already said that the author should be on some kind of FBI list.
Definitely.
After this one, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
He's
you have
trouble.
one scene. Edward is biting a woman's fucking
18-year-old.
busted out pregnant pussy.
18-year-old.
18-year-old. And then in the next scene, this man's trying to fuck a baby. What are we doing here?
Disgusting.
Well, maybe they'll clarify some stuff in the next one.
I don't care.
I'm sure there'll be.
Because
Is there
we
internet
are-
issues, Dan?
And maybe
we're
they'll make it all
critiquing
worse.
each movie
That too,
as
that is
it
possible.
So we have one more. Although I think we should just start discussing about a future series because we had a few ideas we were kicking around. Maybe you guys can vote.
Well, I'll throw out the one that, after some discussion, I got excited about. Is I realized you've never seen a Fast and the Furious movie, have you?
No.
Right,
Okay.
so that's a
Those
good
movies are
contender.
fucking batshit insane and really funny. I find them extremely enjoyable. So that's my suggestion.
I did like probably the first one. I watched it when I was probably pretty young, right?
Sure, yeah. It came out
So,
when we were like high
I
school.
think the
I loved
first
it.
two.
I loved it when it came out.
I think the first. I mean, I don't remember them, but I think the first two were pretty normal compared to the rest.
Okay.
Even the third one is, even though that's kind of a weird one because it's different characters or whatever, is still pretty straightforward. It isn't really until a little bit in 4 and then especially the 5th one that they become fucking insane. But there's still really enjoyable things about. I think the first one is still a great watch.
I happen to love that.
I haven't watched the first one actually. I've watched the
Really?
second one a million times actually. But the first one I haven't.
I remember loving it, but I think even back then I was suspending my belief
Listen.
in a lot of things. But it was just about the fun.
Okay.
It's just
I know we moved on, but now I'm remembering. You said this one was scary. What the fuck did? When was I supposed to be scared?
Dude, that ending was fucking weird.
Yeah, when her body breaks, it freaks me out. Even when I was a kid, I remember being like,
It could look kind of funny.
Me too. Oh my
Yeah,
god,
right?
it
We
was
were
tough to
laughing.
watch. Laughing?
Just because
Oh,
it
him
looked
too, actually.
ridiculous.
okay, there's a very famous scene in Black Swan.
And then we're like, hopefully she just dies now.
No,
I
literally.
mean, she broke her back. What are we doing?
There's a super famous scene in literally Black Swan, which is such an acclaimed film, where it's so similar to that, but it's her legs, and Twilight does it better. I
Really?
think. Yes, I think that it's way more realistic,
Wilbur
scary.
Aronofsky.
Dude, also when they were cutting her stomach and the morphine didn't have time to spread, they're like, just do it. And they just cut her stomach. I'm like,
Yeah.
man,
Yeah,
what?
it was harrowing. I wasn't scared.
Harrowing.
but-
Yeah, no, not actually
Yeah.
scary, but
I was.
what the F?
I
I
guess
was
I just
scared
don't
too.
care. I'm not emotionally invested. at
Can
all.
we get a poll between a few more options other than Fast and Furious? Because I see other.
Well,
Also,
sure.
one
yeah,
more thing
yeah.
before we move on.
I'm not married.
Why
to
the
that.
fuck does everyone hate Jacob? This is absurd. This is
Because
straight up gaslighting.
Because he gets completely shivved by the author and turned into a pedophile that
Well,
falls in love with the
hey,
baby.
The
But that's not
author.
even. He doesn't even control that.
It's bad writing.
That's such pedo apology.
I
Because
was
a
gonna
pedo would
say.
say the same thing.
Yeah.
I don't
Yeah, I was
control who I'm
gonna say
attracted to. She's doing pedo apology.
Low key.
Holy shit! This shit is nuts.
Yeah.
You
I
should
mean,
get
if that
outlawed.
didn't happen, I would still overall think that character is more likable than Edgar or
But
whatever
even in
fuck.
the logic of the movie, Dan, he doesn't control who he imparts on. Not to be like a pedo.
He can't
apologist.
control it.
But he can control, kissing Bella when she says no. And he was like,
True.
he did it anyway. I understand.
But he hadn't imprinted on her.
Yeah,
right?
that's not a print.
But that was one thing compared to a million things that Edward does to her,
Edward's just old.
which is the biggest problem.
Yeah. Well, let
But
me-
again, in the lens of
He
the Twilight
grooms her.
universe,
He grooms her.
in the Twilight world, she's actually older than him. He's just stuck at 17. That's how you're supposed to read it, as insane as it is.
Also, I think if I remember correctly, he kept pushing Bella away. He didn't want to pursue that
But yeah,
because
but still, if you're, it depends which logic you're going. If you're going with the fact that he's older, then it's still on him to not be a creep.
All right, let's talk about. Thank you, everybody. I have one more, and then I'm free from this hell.
Yep, one more, which I've been told from the very beginning is the best one.
Olivia's going to be getting me timestamps of when it's I need to record myself.
Yes, I will.
Okay.
Oh, on certain revelations?
Yeah.
Just the moment I was thinking, right?
I'm guessing that's what they're referring to.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and then we got a ghost game to play.
Yeah.
We do.
Twilight?
Oh, we're gonna do Twilight. All right, let's start with the quiz. Let me get my notes out. We're gonna do this thing.
Okay.
Do you see my shirt?
No, Charlie,
Yo!
come on. Okay.
AB and Lena got this for me for my birthday last year.
One of the only
Thank you guys.
good characters.
It's so
I agree.
annoying. He's so dumb and annoying, and she's so mean to him for no reason.
He's so nice. It's
No,
so
but he's
upsetting.
a total sap in this movie.
He is a sap.
It's not his
He's a
fault.
total fucking sap.
Hey,
It's
he's
like, bro.
very progressive and accepting about the whole situation.
That's why I was
once
like, why don't
he's
you
filled
just tell him? Like, what are we doing here? Anyway, well, I'll get ahead of myself.
in. Yeah.
Okay, so I didn't rewatch yesterday, so I'm sorry if this quiz is up to par as the previous ones. But first question: what unique power does Bella discover after she becomes a vampire?
She can shield. Which, by the way, the shield thing was dumb, and I'll tell you why. In the first movie or the second movie,
Yep.
they're like, "Oh my God, what is this power? I'm like this most experienced, smartest vampire that's ever lived. I have a council of elders, and we don't know what this is." And then this one guy's like, "Oh, it's a shield."
Right. Yep.
You
And
know
also, why does she have her vampire power before she's turned into a vampire?
Make it make sense to me.
I thought it was cool. I thought you guys are thinking about it all wrong. The whole time, Bella was looked at like the weakness, and in the end, she's the one that made all
No,
the
she
difference.
wasn't.
Her ability is what allowed them to even face a Volturi.
Hold on.
Slay, I
They
agree.
didn't never look at her as a weakness. He was always from the beginning like, "Ooh, I like what I'm seeing."
No, you gotta like throw her into the wall because your brother's trying to eat her.
Oh, because she's.
Yeah.
But that was more just because she's a newborn. Now she's super strong in the new one.
No, I mean like they had to be gentle with her because she's human, and she was always in
Yeah.
danger because she was human. And
I think you're thinking too deep into it.
No,
No.
no. And I think because last time we did have a debate where we were like, why is Bella so obsessed with Jacob? And we talked about the imprinting thing, and there was a line in this
Yeah, they
movie
explained it.
where
which
they
is
were like,
horrible
the
and
only
bad.
reason why is because Nessie wanted me. Like
We'll
that's
get to that.
so maybe that's why. Maybe that's why the shield. It was like Nessie was inside her the whole time.
No, she wasn't. They
but I know
literally,
she,
she
wasn't
did not
the egg wasn't
exist.
fertilized, blah blah blah.
She did
but
not fucking exist.
The magic doesn't uphold like anywhere, so I can make this up, you know?
Well,
That's
you
fair.
can, but
Yeah.
just let's admit that this movie's bad, objectively bad.
No.
absolutely
All right,
not.
so I got the first one.
Okay, what is the name of Edward and Bella's daughter?
What's the name of her daughter?
Mm-hmm.
It's like some dumbass, like, it's the two moms' names together. It's like Rosema Schmear.
That's right.
Mesmemir.
It's
Roshmere.
Mesmer, the Impaler.
Mesmerschmel.
Renesmee.
Yeah, Renesmee. I mean, I was right.
Yeah, got that one.
Okay, what special ability does Benjamin from the Egyptian coven have? Who is played by Rami Malek?
He can like control water or the elements. He controls.
He's
the
an
elements.
airbender,
Yes.
or he's the Avatar.
By the way,
essentially.
what an idiot he is during that fight scene. He's
Moron,
like, I'm gonna
dumbass.
crack the earth open for no reason.
Worst use of a
And
superpower
then all my
imaginable.
friends are gonna fall into it. Great fucking work on the battlefield there, buddy. Why don't you stay home
He
next
is
time?
so annoying. Can we just admit him as an actor?
Alec,
Whoa.
as soon as
Yeah,
I
how
saw him,
dare
I was
you.
like, I totally agree. I was like, this motherfucker, for real.
I don't know
Malek.
anything about him. Just
I
when I
love-
first started, everyone said I looked like him.
I
love
see the
Rami Malek.
resemblance.
There's a bit of.
But I mean, in a handsome way. It's a compliment. You're nothing like him.
He's not annoying because he's bad looking. You know.
Okay, in Alice's vision, who kills Aro during the battle?
It's a combo, but it's so stupid.
Yep.
It's a combo of Bella and fucking Edward, and it's
Yep.
like so dumb.
Okay,
And he's supposed to be so
dumb.
fucking strong. He literally just walks up to them and gets his head yanked off. Like he didn't even do shit.
Dude, the head yanking
He didn't do anything.
is incredible. in
Why
this
is he
film. I
so
gotta say.
strong and feared? Like, dude,
Well, that's what
Edward is not special. He's a normal vampire.
she's
She's
special.
bullshit. He's special.
No,
He's
no, I
he's a
mean-
normal ass vampire.
That's what Aro does. He collects special vampires. I mean, his is
He's not
really-
collected Edward.
But he was
But he
trying.
wants
He
to.
was trying.
He's been
He was
wanting
trying.
him. Yeah.
I don't think he's
The
special.
mind reading. That's a.
The
that's
mind
a-
reading,
The
yeah.
only, oh right, the mind reading. But I mean, in terms of strength,
Yeah. but he is faster than the others.
You're right, the mind reading, yeah.
Okay, who helps Bella learn to control her new vampire abilities?
Read it again.
Who helps Bella learn to control her new vampire powers, abilities?
I mean, isn't it just, let me think here. I remember her practicing with Edward. Does she practice with, I think it's Edward? Oh no.
I think it's an acceptable answer.
Yeah.
I got that question from ChatGPT. Kind of sucks. It says Jasper, but Edward does help her as well.
Yeah, okay.
Why are the Cullens trying to reach out with other vampire clans?
They want them to testify that they didn't break the law.
Yes. What does Bella give to Renesmee as a keepsake?
What did she give her?
I remember.
Hold on, let me. It's on the tip of my brain here. Was it a little? Yeah, what's with the? There's a loud ass bird. You're right.
Yeah, it's chirping its ass off.
I guess I don't remember. She was on Jacob.
It was a locket with like a photo of her
Yes.
and Edward, right?
That is correct.
Okay.
Okay, what is Bella's father, Charlie, told about Renesmee to explain her rapid growth? How do they explain it to him?
They say she was adopted, right?
At first, yes. Okay, what does Jacob reveal to Bella and Edward in an attempt to calm their fears about him and Renesmee?
That it's not like that.
They did say that.
Yes.
Is that the answer?
Yeah, his
He
love
just said
is
it's
not
not like
romantic
that.
and solely a protective bond, which I don't necessarily agree with.
Yeah.
It's clearly proven not true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, that's
It
a
was
lie.
they literally at the end of the movie were like, no, they're fucked. In like
Yeah,
2 years.
he asked Edward, so should I start calling you Dad?
Exactly. That was,
Fucking
dude. Okay,
weird.
we're getting ahead of ourselves,
Okay.
but that was
Last
like
question.
I paused it when I heard that.
It's like 30 seconds left.
Dude.
What does Bella show Edward during their final scene together in the meadow?
Oh,
It's all their memories together.
A fucking montage.
I always loved you. She said, nobody's ever loved anyone as much as I love you. I'm like, bitch, you have a child. Let's start there.
true.
Right.
True.
Yep.
Yeah, that montage. It looked like she went into iMovie and just made a bunch of like.
It was just a corny little like, oh, it's over, and
Yeah.
everyone shit.
Yeah.
Haven't we had fun?
Yeah,
She
it had like
shows him
the
how
first
she
movie.
always felt about him.
Yeah, but we
we
were all
knew
there.
that. When was that ever in doubt?
Yeah.
Well, he's used to reading minds, but couldn't read hers.
Oh, that's why it was special.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can.
And then he's like, how'd you do that? She's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not. It's
How'd
not
you
my.
have the music?
Yeah. Well, how did she do that? It's not her power. It's not explained. She's never done anything like that
She
before.
said she was practicing.
That's not how it works, bro. You don't practice new vampire powers and then they just materialize. I don't think so.
No, practicing like putting down her shield.
Oh.
The shield.
That's a beautiful interpretation. You think that like
For sure, that's what it is.
oh the
If I'm interpreting it wrong, then I
Oh,
really
she dropped her shield and then.
too deep in the sauce.
But then
That's
he could only.
cute.
Okay, but it seemed like something she did to him though, because she touched him and then he saw it.
because her shield was down. That's cute. If that's true, it's cute, and I want to believe
If it was the shield down, which I do like that, she should have said, "Touch me," or like look into my mind, or something like be more literal about it. But instead, she did it to him.
True.
No, that was the first time he read her mind because she put her shield down.
I know she put her shield down, but he didn't see the vision until she touched his face.
Yeah, just to add more intimacy, you know?
She
Yeah.
did it to him.
Right. I see how it appears that way, but you're right. Because normally Edward doesn't need to touch somebody to read their mind, right?
No.
Right.
Right.
Aro does.
So it
I was a bitch.
I see why that
Sarah's a bitch.
confused you, but yeah, I think AB is ultimately right.
Thank you.
Well, like if they're,
Soundbite that.
In which that's a nice moment.
I agree, but like the movie's so dumb. Like, just hit us over the head with it. Like, why be subtle about it at all?
Suddenly, it's very subtle.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Should we
Okay.
start from the beginning then?
So I did pretty good, I think.
Yeah, you did good.
You're pretty good.
This one I watched. I didn't have a game open. I didn't have my phone open. I
You
was
were locked in.
I
huh?
was locked in.
No Survivor IO.
Nope.
Not even a little bit.
Well, this let's say
How could you
up
look away?
front, and I'm curious if you agree with me, Ethan. This
Yeah.
movie felt like it was moving in a way that the last like 3 weren't.
Frankly, I disagree. The first half, nothing fucking happened again. Nothing.
No, not really. Like she's getting trained and like we're seeing her like familiarize herself like as a vampire. It was way less just like all the long, moody like relationship scenes this movie had a lot less of, and there's more of like things actually happening. Also, the movie is like incredibly short. It was like a little over an hour and a half.
I was grateful.
Yeah, which kind of rocks. I'm glad they kept it tight this time.
I
This
love
is
it.
gonna sound super nerdy.
Well,
but
it's 2 hours, 155.
I think what they were
Was it?
trying to show
Yeah.
with her as a vampire is that she was awkward as a human, and as a vampire, she's just so natural at everything. And
Yeah,
supposed to mean she was
yeah.
always meant to be.
Right, and it's like, as I've been saying, like, wow, God, what a curse. Fucking being a vampire really has its downsides. Not.
Yeah.
Not. Literally not. All right, let me go to my list.
You grew up not fearing hell. I think that's the disconnect. A lot of Christian families or strict Muslim families, I'm sure strict Jewish families as well, are always
Jews
told.
they don't do hell in Judaism.
That's true.
True. Which is such bullshit.
Which is why Jews
You
don't
guys
like
got- you
Twilight.
guys got
I know,
the
it's-
fucking
Such
Kevin's so
bullshit.
good.
I'm saying that's why Jews don't like Twilight.
That makes sense.
They don't get it. I was surprised to learn that hell is such a big part of Islam. I had no idea.
We have it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Everything we do, we're going to hell. And something's always wrong. I think I pissed off my mother-in-law last night when we left because she said, when you guys come next month, I want to hear that Lena's pregnant.
Oh my God,
And then
that's straightforward.
She means
1
well,
month.
but yeah, I told her, I'm like, how do you know we're not trying and like
Being rude,
something's
yeah.
wrong, or that like Lena's really sad about it, which isn't the case. Everyone says
Yeah,
that,
but it's a fair question. Mind your
Yeah.
business.
Yeah, but also she lost her voice, so she's using a lot of effort to try to say this. And she said it to me too, and she was hugging me bye. She's like, when you come in a few weeks, I hope you surprise me and tell me you're pregnant. And I'm like, what? I can't hear you. Okay, bye.
Who's going to hell for that?
Oh, nothing. It's the same like mindset of something's always wrong.
Oh.
Like we're doing something wrong at all times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just dealing with something real quick.
Oh, come on, man. We're talking about Twilight here. Get off your damn phone. Or get on it to look at the notes that are
I'm
also on
pulling
your
up
phone.
my notes.
But so stay on your phone, but get off of the thing.
All right, let me
change
open.
apps. Switch
Yeah.
apps.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this real quick though, Ethan. Did you know that the fight scene wasn't in the book?
How would I know that?
Because we kind of talked about it in the office, but I don't know if you were here at the time. But yeah,
I didn't know that. No, I
that
didn't.
wasn't in the book.
Oh, well, that's okay.
That's part of the movie.
I don't want to get ahead of myself
Okay.
here. Okay. So let's see. I wrote here that the intro was long and that they have this uncanny ability of doing nothing for the first 50 minutes. But apparently, you had a different opinion about it.
No, it's in the beginning, they're like running around the forest, and then she fucking eats a mountain lion, which I wrote, that's probably an endangered species, and it's kind of fucked up.
She saved a deer. Like,
Because she's the lamb. Remember, she's the prey from the first
but
movie.
now she's the
was always-
predator.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
she
Symbolic. Tell him, Olive.
she has empathy. Except she almost went and ate a rock climber. It's like, girl, this was you last week. Like, she ran there and she was like, I want it. I want the fucking
The scene
blood.
is so goofy when she's like feral running on all fours and like leaps onto the fucking mountainside and is just punching her way up the
So
rock
funny.
face. It's
she got
fucking
that
crazy.
newborn energy, boy.
Yeah.
She has no memory of.
Also,
girl,
that
you
guy
were so scared.
kind of asking for it. Free solo climbing. That.
That's what I said. I was like, dude, he's gonna die anyway. Just let her eat him.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you're kind of asking for it there.
There was this scene where, right after she turns and they start having sex, and then he says, or she says, I forget who, we're the same temp now. And I'm
Mhm.
like, no,
Cold.
you always were. You were always the same temperature. You were always the same temperature.
No, he's
They
like
have
cold
laid
like a
in bed,
corpse or whatever.
embracing each other, and she
She's
has
just freaky
never
like
once
that.
complained.
She likes it.
She likes the cold.
She likes that he feels like a dead body.
I felt that it took her way too long to ask about her baby.
That's what my next note is.
For
Shit,
real?
the baby was a second thought. She's like, oh, I'm alive. I love you so much. We should hang out and kiss. And she's like, oh, and anyway, what's up with the baby?
Yeah.
That I like literally died to
birth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job, Mom. I mean, she doesn't care about the kid. Let's be real.
Yeah.
She literally told him, nobody has ever loved you as nobody's ever loved as much as I love you. Obviously, she's talking about her kid. Her kid is not the priority for
Right.
her.
You're very perceptive to also pick that up. You and me both.
Listen, that's sick. I mean, it's sick.
It is, quite frankly.
This series continually treats children like weird, like in a sick way.
I think I figured out why. I think she needed to be away from the baby first to see if she can control herself. I didn't rewatch it last night. I wish I did.
Hold on, apologist. Hold on. She doesn't even mention it. She says, "Oh, what about the baby?" It wasn't like, "Oh, I'm holding off." She was all into Edward, and then she's like,
Yeah,
"Oh
no,
yeah."
Ethan's right. It was very much like an afterthought.
Like, oh yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, the baby. There is that element too. Like they had pre-discussed that after she turns, she's gonna need to be careful around people. I guess not the baby because they didn't specifically think she was gonna die in childbirth or whatever. But yeah, Ethan's right. She's just totally like happy to see Edward for like a while. And I was just like, oh yeah, I have a baby now. Got it.
Right, I'm a mother.
It's kind of a big deal.
Huge.
You had a fucking baby.
Yeah.
You know?
She was, I guess, to flip sides and defend her a little bit, she just died and then had this like violent resurrection process. She might be a little disoriented, I guess. Maybe we could cut her a little bit of slack.
I mean, she died because of the baby.
Wendy
She
said,
was
she also died.
her whole existence was like, I need to have this baby. I love this. This baby's the best thing.
Right.
You wake up like, I don't know. She doesn't care about the kid, and it lines up with what she told Edward at the end. I'm sorry, she doesn't care about the kid that much.
Okay.
Yeah.
She just doesn't.
All right.
I literally wrote down, okay, it took her too long to ask about her baby.
Yep.
She needs to eat before seeing her baby. Why don't you want to meet your baby?
How long does it take to meet the baby? You had time to go smooch with Edward.
Yeah, it took a long time.
You ever? I know you guys have probably never seen a woman give birth. I don't know why you would have. But when that baby comes out, that mom does not give a fuck about anything else in the room.
Right.
And rightfully so, right?
But they don't generally turn into vampires either during that process. That's all I'm saying. I don't know how disorienting that is.
So you turn into a vampire and you forget your baby? What are you trying to say?
It seems like a big deal.
Look, if it wasn't, if there wasn't at
your soul is being damned.
If it wasn't for at the end, then I would say you might have a point.
Okay, you keep connecting it to that, and that is true. That is true. She was well recovered at that point.
By the way, speaking of which, I hated the baby vampire thing. That made me sad. I didn't like it.
When they threw it into the fire?
Yeah, I didn't like
that. I hated it.
It was so insane how they tossed it. There was this old movie, I think it was like Kung Pao it was called or something.
Yeah.
But there's like a baby, it's this comedy, but they find a baby on the hill and they're like, oh, so cute. They kiss it and then just like throw the baby.
Yeah.
It reminded me of that.
The way Dakota Fanning, I mean, she looked capital C word. You know what I mean? Like, she looked amazing throwing that baby into the fire, but I was devastated that it happened.
I hated it.
Yeah.
It was just, I mean, I was wondering, like, what's the deal with these, like, the kid vampires? But they're saying if you turn like a baby, they just stay a baby forever?
And they can't get their thirst under control. So they just, like, could kill an entire town.
But a baby, like a 6-month-old?
AB.
I'm sorry. I was thinking, what the fuck
I'm
would
just
I
like
do in that
picturing it
situation?
like
what does it do?
Like leaping at people,
6
like
months. It's
latching
super
onto
strong.
their neck.
It doesn't know how to control its limbs. Yeah, it'd be like a head crawler or something.
Right.
Well,
but is it also the super strength? Is the literal like it's like a foot tall and it can like take on a grown man? And
Yeah,
like
easily.
It can like fuck him up.
By the lore standards.
I mean, that's crazy.
It's a marble, because he's like a marble baby. We made a marble.
Baby wants.
Okay, so anyway, I didn't like all that. Oh yeah, and then I kept just thinking like, wow, being a vampire sucks. Like she goes outside and she's like, I can see every detail. My senses are heightened. Everything's awesome. This is the best thing ever. Wow, I was born to be a vampire. It's like, why the fuck are we pretending Like not turning into a vampire
You'll never
is the
get
best
it,
thing ever.
because you don't understand what it is to be damned. You're just not gonna.
Well, it'd be
you
nice
gotta
if they could explain it.
Well,
No
all the-
soul, dude.
that's true.
What do you
That
mean?
would be.
They all
There's no
have
soul.
souls. They all have souls.
It was written with the assumption. It's from the worldview of a very religious person.
All right. Well, you know what they say
that's
about
just enough.
assumptions.
That's enough.
Do you know what they say about assumptions, Dan?
No, what do they say?
They make an ass out of you and me.
Cool.
Not me.
Okay. Not Nate.
Yeah, I wasn't talking to you,
Thank you.
but I'm about to drop it on you if you're not careful. Dan, you fuck. And then there was like this animal drama, which I was like, this is dumb. Let's just get on with it. With like,
The mountain lion? Is that what you're
there
talking
was the deer, and then she's like, no, I don't want to eat a deer. And she came back, she's like, okay, I'll eat the deer. And she's like, oh, the mountain lion's gonna kill the deer. Wow. And I'm gonna eat the mountain. It's like, it was like 10 minutes of this animal drama. It was just stupid. I hated it.
You hate love. That's it.
I love love.
Killing a mountain lion?
I love them.
By hating these movies so much.
I wish I could run like them. That's really
It
all I
looks
could
so
kept
funny, the
behind.
running
It looks
scene.
so
Oh, dude,
fun.
It looks like they're like running in place.
They are.
God, it
They're
is.
behind the scenes. They're
That
on
is
a,
so stupid.
They're like on a treadmill on the back of a truck.
Why would they do that? There's got to be a better way to do that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Wow. Wow. Yeah, it looked really bad. Come meet my girlfriend. What was that about? When did I say that?
Come meet my girlfriend?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that's referring to. My next note is about the first Jacob scene.
It was Jacob. It was probably Jacob being like, "Do you want to meet your baby now?"
Oh yeah, I said, come meet your boyfriend. Okay, yeah.
No.
The CGI baby looked absurd.
Okay.
So
No,
have
no,
you
no.
seen the original? Have you heard about Chuck Esme? Before it was CGI, it was a doll. I have an album in the doll.
Why not get a real baby?
I
That's a
don't
great question.
understand that.
They do that all the
I
time.
don't understand that.
I wrote down that
What
baby.
the fuck? That's a doll?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like an animatronic
Why?
baby they made.
What are they doing?
The finished
Oh.
product was like beautiful. I wrote down that baby is fake, but it is beautiful. Oh my god.
Chuck Esme.
That's insanely dumb and horrible. I
I'll
hate it.
explain to you why they use that weird CG thing. It's because the girl's growing up really fast and they want to use the same actor or actress
No, yeah.
throughout the stages.
Didn't they
Right,
change
it
actors?
looks like her face.
Was
But,
it?
but a baby's a baby. Just get a baby.
Yeah.
Just get
Yeah.
sisters if you're.
It's
You
not
know what I
that
mean?
important.
There was parts when like she was a newborn and it just looked insane. It looked
Yeah, I mean
insane.
the animatronic looks weird too.
That looks
Be-
worse actually.
Yeah,
Because
this is
the
worse.
whole thing was that they wanted to look like something otherworldly, obviously.
She was
It
so
was
And then,
otherworldly,
but then
alright.
this looks
But
so
she's a real
weird.
person.
But they filmed all this stuff, so they just CG'd it. They're like, fuck it.
Yeah, that's how they shot the running scenes.
Oh, that's fucking crazy. I feel like even this should have looked better than it did. It
I
just
thought it looked good.
ended up looking so like they were just standing in front of a green screen pretending to run.
Well, apparently they weren't.
But they're on a treadmill actually like moving.
Mm-hmm. For like the close-up shots.
They tried.
Yeah. So credit for that. You tried.
All right. Let's see.
We're at the Jacob scene now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because
I said
that was a big scene.
we're getting
that
there.
was when
How-
I was like,
I wrote
enjoying
here-
this movie right now.
So the Jacob thing comes out, and Bella gets pissed, and I was wondering how she goes. It was her the whole time. That's why I was so obsessed with you. And I'm like, no, that doesn't make sense. The baby didn't fucking exist.
It could.
You're a weirdo.
Thank
Well,
you.
she's very religious. Maybe she thinks, preconception even, she believes. Who
Is
knows?
that even a thing in the book that's
I
ever been
have no
discussed, though? You know
idea.
what I mean? Like as a
I'm
concept.
just writing my own thing. I like the idea that she was always there. I think it makes a lot of things, like ties up a
So
lot
what,
of
she
loose ends.
transcends time and space? Because they didn't
Yeah.
explain that.
No, it does.
I don't know. The idea of her was there.
She transcends time and space.
I mean, I don't. That is the. That seems to be what the text is indicating. Yeah.
In what way?
Because that she had this mystical connect. Listen. It's extremely dumb. Don't
No,
get me wrong.
explain it.
I'm
I
not
don't
defending
understand.
it. Spiritually, the baby always existed as a part of her.
But I'm saying they don't explain it in any other sense.
You just have
it doesn't
to
make
be
sense.
just vibes.
The baby
dude.
did not fucking exist.
Yeah, obviously.
They're trying to whitewash
It's
Jacob.
magic, bro. It's magic.
No, they're trying to run defense for Jacob. He's a fucking creepy pedophile.
Yeah. No, that's definitely what's actually happening.
And
Try to warn you guys.
He goes, I don't control. Dude, it's literally doing pedophilia apologia. And he even does the line like, I don't control who I.
Yeah, no, it's insane.
It's like
So that
actual
whole-
pedophile apologia.
Wait, so back it up though, because when
Control your urge, bitch.
yeah, when she first finds out and that scene goes down, all of like the Cullen family, they all like go outside and they're just like laughing and watching.
Yeah.
And I felt I was one of them in that moment. It felt like the movie was like became suddenly very self-aware. They were like, that
Yeah.
guy's fucking weird. What the fuck?
But like on the other hand, I almost didn't even understand why she was so mad at him too, because like I don't think she knew the extent of it, and he saved them, didn't he? Didn't he save all their lives?
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Like
she
a lot of
knows about the
gratitude.
weird ass wolf imprinting thing, and he's like, yeah, I imprinted on your baby. She's like, get the fuck out of here, like immediately. She's just
But
like,
like
get the
I felt
fuck
like
outta
she was
here.
too quick to anger because like they didn't even
Nah.
discuss it.
No, she did.
But then
everyone
she
was way
immediately
too slow to
forgives him and
anger.
is like, you can be with her forever and be her guardian.
Well, yeah, that's the other half of how insane this movie is.
I feel like she was a bit touchy because she was holding the baby, and then Jacob was like, "Okay, that's enough for right now."
That
and
was
then-
insane.
That was insane, and I think that's what tipped her. And then she's like,
Sure,
you,
yeah.
you nicknamed my baby after the Loch Ness monster."
I laughed
That
so
was a
hard
good-
at that line.
That line is crazy.
You said it just like her. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
So it wasn't about the Loch Ness. Why is she being
He
obtuse?
called her Nessie.
I know, it's short for her name.
I know.
Why do you have a nickname for somebody else's baby that was just born, dude?
Because he imprinted on her.
Right, and she's mad about it.
Oh, yeah, that's weird, bro. What are you talking about?
They're family.
They're family forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. You
also, can I
never
say
leave
that's
side.
your Dan's boy? That's
Well,
your
listen,
boy.
obviously,
Thank you, Nate.
Your boy's on the
Remind
sex
him.
offender list. bro.
Remind him.
Yeah, they're
You
all.
fucked with him.
Yeah, listen, we did not have all of the information, and it feels. First of all, let's get one thing straight. Y'all that like these movies,
Oh my god.
it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter what team you're on. The author of this book wrote the whole
She's
thing.
disturbed.
Like, she is a disturbed woman.
He has.
And so, being a fan of this is way more cringe than having not realizing that Jacob is
She-
going to be
Oh,
a pedo.
Our
She-
apologies.
yeah.
You know?
We're not talking
You know what I'm
about
saying?
cringe. We're talking about
Yeah, yeah.
No, dude,
Yeah, the
she's-
story that you are defending.
She's literally doing
Yeah,
pedophile apologia.
yeah. Like
She goes,
unquestionable.
I'm sorry, I don't have a choice. I can't control who I'm
I love.
attracted to.
Yeah.
It is
And then
crazy.
he's like, it's
It's
not like
insane.
that. It's not like that.
He
and then
lies.
guess what? You
It's
find
totally
out
like
he was
that.
bold-faced lying, and he did want to fuck the baby the whole time, and they let it happen.
Yep.
Which is usually how this
Yeah.
happens, by the way. When kids are sexually abused, a lot of time it's in the custody of a family friend, and the parents are negligent.
That is that.
She
statistically
knows.
Sadly, is true.
She knows.
Yeah,
So-
Stephanie Myers is.
She's a cuckoo.
That's a cuckoo lady right there.
Mhm,
I don't know
So-
what to say.
By the end, because we referenced earlier, we talked about how Jacob says, like, should I start calling you dad now?
Yeah.
How long are we presuming, because I assume they're kissing by then, how long has she been on Earth? Because she grows rapidly.
Yeah,
she
just
looks
like
like
year
a
or two.
teenager.
It's literally like a 2-year-old.
He's kissing a 2-year-old. That's
Oh, wait,
crazy.
hold on. He didn't kiss a 2-year-old. When
Well,
did that happen?
remember the end when they flash
The
forward?
vision of the
Oh,
future.
when she's like grown up?
Yeah,
that
but
They
like,
say it takes 7 years in the movie.
Okay, so 7-year-old.
Yeah.
that's
Minimum
young,
7.
Not a
bitch.
lot.
Yes.
Not a lot.
Not a lot of age, not a lot of years. Not good.
It's also weird that she did that. She could have just said, "You're fully grown at 18," but she
Why
wrote in
17?
7.
Yeah. And then it's like, she's also playing on this trope of like, age is just a number. It's like, look, she's a grown up. She looks like a lady. She's good to
She
go.
looks like a lady.
Yeah.
And I will say it's frustrating because I found the Jacob character to be more likable than Edward in the early movies, and it does feel like character assassination. It feels like as you proceed through it, it's just like, what the fuck did you do to this character?
You know what I was thinking? If I was that actor who played Jacob, after I read the script, I'd be like, you need to recast me. I'm not doing this.
Has he had much of a career after this? Like that?
I don't think so,
Taylor
and I'm not.
whatever?
With
No.
Lautner.
You guys can't talk bad about him.
He's a
He's
podcaster.
a family friend.
I'm not talking bad
I'm not
about
talking
him.
bad
I'm
about
saying
him.
she ruined
He
it.
might even be watching this. What's up, Taylor? We
No
would love
shit,
you. We
really?
would love you to come on the.
So
He's in the pod
Lena
world.
met him at a private screening of Taylor Swift's movie.
Was he
Ah.
invited for being a fellow
Why would,
Taylor?
how
He
did that
dated
happen?
Taylor when they were younger.
He dated
shit.
Taylor
Yes, and
Swift?
his
Taylor on
now
Taylor?
wife is named Taylor Lautner as well, and she's a huge Swiftie. And he has come on.
dated Taylor Swift?
Yes. Have you never seen the movie Valentine's Day?
What the fuck do I know
they
about
met.
Valentine's?
They met filming that movie together. They were like a couple in that sweet little film, and then they dated after. It must have
Wow.
ended great because they're on great terms. And he's always
He
at
seems
like
like a nice guy. I
Taylor
mean, I've seen him
stuff.
talk in interviews and stuff, but
Him and his wife, Lena said they were very nice. They invited Lena over for game night.
Shut
Oh,
up!
that
They
was a-
did,
I
yeah.
said,
No,
we're-
no, no,
we're-
that
I
was a
said, we're
menage a
Team
trois.
Edward in this house.
Shut
Sorry.
up! You have to go, you guys.
I have a feeling that was like a menage a trois thing.
What?
A what?
You're
They
thinking-
invite
you're
you to
thinking-
their house that quick, and AB wasn't there?
No, it
She was there
me
with
and
Nicole.
Yeah. And
Oh,
Nicole's
okay.
really good friends with them.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Oh
All right.
my god.
I feel like they were just being nice.
You're
like,
thinking of
to
Jay-
me because,
You didn't-
you know,
Yeah,
it wasn't for real. Like, come over for game night.
Mhm.
Who knows? I don't know. They were really sweet though. But yeah, they had like a held a private screening of the Eras tour, and yeah, it was really fun. So I got to meet Jacob.
Wow.
That is so cool.
There's so many Taylors in the mix there.
Mhm.
Wow.
They have a podcast together actually. Taylor and his wife Taylor.
That's cool.
Taylor and
Oh.
Taylor?
Yeah.
Taylor, on
Taylor and Taylor debut Taylor.
All their employees are named Taylor too.
I think she goes by Tay though.
Tay-Tay goes by Tay-Tay.
Tay
Tay
Swift.
Tay. The other one's Tay, and then there's Taylor.
All right, let me check my list. Yeah, but let's see. He must have got paid a bag for that last movie though, because I'm like, I am not gonna be your pedophile. I am not. That is not me. I'm moving on.
Well, he did step away from acting for a while after that.
Really?
Yeah.
There's no
If I
shot,
remember correctly.
dude.
That's very unfortunate. For
Is it public how much he got paid for these
Let me
roles?
see.
Curious. Hopefully it's a lot. By the last one, these must have been like huge commercial successes, right?
They were, yeah.
So the
yeah,
actors-
he probably made up pretty well.
Yeah.
I have to imagine.
What?
Yahoo, according to Yahoo, it says Lautner was paid $1 million to play Jacob, werewolf best friend, in Twilight. Following this, he appeared in the Twilight Saga: New Moon and the Twilight Saga: Eclipse, getting $4 million and over $7 million respectively.
But then what about the last one? That's only 3.
ChatGPT says 12.5 for the
12,
last one.
yeah.
So in totality, he got what? Like sounds like 20 million or something.
Yeah, around there.
That's nice.
It's pretty good.
It's a nice. I'd be a pedophile for 20 million. I'd play a pedophile for 20
Soundbite.
million.
Soundbite. Nah, but clip it. Clip it.
I would play a pet. I'm gonna button
Why?
that. I mean,
Got
who
'em.
wouldn't? Who
Ladies and
wouldn't?
gentlemen, we got him.
Who wouldn't? Let's see. Oh yeah, so she immediately, when he's like, "I imprinted on your child," and she's like, "That's disgusting, dude," because she thought the same thing as us. She knows what the fuck that means.
Yeah.
She knows him really well. She's seen it. She knows
Yeah.
what that means, and she wasn't wrong.
Yeah, she
That's the
didn't.
thing. He kept trying to gaslight everybody and say it's not like that,
Yeah.
and it turned out he was fucking lying.
He's
It
a
was
liar.
like that,
He's a liar.
and everyone's okay with it.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah.
I was thinking, he's definitely gonna fuck you in a year to the baby. Fortunately. Being a vampire has no downside. We talked about that.
Yeah.
His obsession with the baby's creepy as fuck. There's this one point where he's like peeking out the window, like spying on the baby playing.
Uh-huh.
It is so creepy.
All of it.
I don't know if it was meant to be endearing, if I was supposed to like be rooting for their connection. I don't know what she wanted me to feel about this relationship.
Well, if you take him at
That's a
his
good point.
word, if you want to. Here's the thing: the scene at the end retroactively cements it all as being creepy.
Yeah.
But let's think about it as you're watching through it. You could say, okay, it's just like a protective, like uncle situation.
But-
you know what I mean?
Okay, but that
You're a
would be
close family
fair
One of
Right.
the creepy.
if
Yeah, for sure.
if they didn't end up together.
Exactly. So that retroactively, yeah, it's
He's
100% creepy.
Yeah, it's 100% creepy.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's wild. But that's what I'm saying. I don't know what she wants me to feel. Because who the fuck is gonna watch this and be endeared? Like nobody.
It's a crazy decision, and I don't like. So, okay, those of you that have read the book, is that scene in the book, like the flash forward, or like the implication that they?
I don't know.
You don't know?
I think the chat. I don't know. You tell us, chat. I have no idea.
Okay, we'll see what the chat
Just wait.
says.
The chat
In
is,
silence.
they're experts in this shit.
Yeah,
They know everything.
They know it all. Okay, well, let's keep going.
So moving on, we've got her dad doesn't feel that. Oh yeah, he gives her a fucking big ass hug. She's a vampire. Gives her a big ass hug. Squeezes her tight. I love my daughter. He does not realize that she's fucking 0 degrees.
Yeah.
This temperature thing that they play with in the movie, it's dumb. It doesn't ever factor into any scene. Why even do it?
That's a good question.
You know what I mean? They're lying. She's normal. She's normal temperature.
Maybe did she have long sleeves on? Maybe.
Dude, she's ice cold.
Yeah, no, I get you.
These movers. Okay, never mind that. Why not just... Yeah, okay, so then the whole thing with the feeding, right? All of their vampire friends show up. There's like, what, 20 of them? Bro, when these vampires show up somewhere, there's got to be like 100 people that disappear from town. And then,
That's a great point.
And then here's what I'm thinking is like, they're trying to be the good guys and eat animals. Everyone else, though, is still eating humans.
Yeah.
But if they like humans, we can work something out. Like, blood is a regenerative resource.
Right, yeah.
Like, you can
have it.
absolutely just donate blood, have a symbiotic relationship with humans. That would be totally fucking great. Everybody wins.
Very true. It's a renewable resource.
Yeah.
Oh, chat says he does notice. Sorry, they're a little delayed, but talking about
He does
Charlie.
notice, okay. Because they should have wrote it into the script because it was just so dumb. Like, oh, you're cold. Oh, you feel cold.
He does make kind of like a weird motion when he hugs her, but it's clear that he
Bro.
doesn't want to say anything.
A weird
it's
motion?
subtle acting. It's show,
Chat
don't tell,
says-
Ethan.
Chat says he pauses for a second and it implies it.
No, he did not. I
Yes, he
watched it
did.
back because I was like, he didn't even mention she's cold.
Okay.
It's because he was happy to see her. He doesn't want to say anything.
She's so
Said,
mean to
trust
him.
me, Dad. And he did.
I'm sorry, but if my daughter, who I thought was dead, I come and hug her and she feels like an ice cube, I'm going to ask what's going on. Okay? But maybe that's just me.
Oh,
Maybe I
that's
actually
you.
care about my kids.
Also, chat saying about the Jacob imprinting thing. They don't say outright that he's gonna end up dating her. What it's implied. I guess he says, "I could be anything you want me to be,
Gross.
like your protector or anything else."
That's
you know?
disgusting. That is that's even worse.
So,
is
yeah, I think the
definitely
painting that was her choice to start dating him,
That's
not his.
disgusting.
Hate it. When they're rounding up vampires and they see one guy, it was Rosalie and what's her boyfriend's name?
Emmett.
Rosalie and Emmett went to grab that revolutionary guy.
The guy whose entire personality is I fought in the
He
revolution.
hasn't moved on.
He has not
It's been like
moved on,
250
bro.
years.
Every line of dialogue out of his mouth is a pun about him being a soldier in the Revolutionary War, and it was so fucking fun.
Get a new thing, guy.
250 years, you're getting new experience.
It's so good.
They just let him
Yeah,
kill a random civilian. They are complicit in murder at
They
this
didn't even
point.
protest.
No,
I specifically even wrote it down.
Because
They literally smile and kind of chuckle to themselves as he's eating a dude.
That's what I was
Yeah.
saying is like, if you guys really cared, we could work this out. Like, there are humans that are down, and you can, like, you could totally make it worth their while. You're super rich, you're strong, you have all these superpowers. Like, you could hook them up in unbelievable ways and have like a you could have like a perfect society with vampires and humans living together. There's no reason that can't be.
It's all a false dilemma. the
Yeah,
entire
totally,
thing.
100%.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, frankly, it calls the whole vampire system into question. Although I think in other vampire universes, there's more explanation for why. Like, vampires just hate humans. They think they're just food, and that makes sense.
Mhm.
But they're like, no, we're good guys. It's like, all right, well, then try harder, bitch. You want to be a doctor? How about you just make an alliance with some human beings? You'll save a lot more lives that way. Dummy, idiot, imbecile. Don't even get me started on that dipshit. When the battle starts, and he's like, I'm going to go in by myself and get immediately decapitated. It's like, nice job, idiot. You're supposed to be the smart one.
Okay, I was.
What a fucking
That scene
worthless...
ripped though, dude.
What a worthless
love-
fool.
I love the whole
screamed
fight.
when I saw
The
that.
fight
for the
is
first-
awesome.
Out of
Yeah.
every film I think I've ever seen in theaters, I don't think I've seen a reaction like that.
Yeah.
People lost their fucking
It was
mind.
such a dumb, needless, pointless death.
It was-
I couldn't be
screamed
shocked.
when
couldn't
I
be
first
shocked because
saw
it was
it.
so stupid. Why did he do that?
It wasn't.
Why would he do that?
I mean,
It's
he
just
didn't
it's so
say 'cause he was
absurd.
mad.
They have to start with the most absurd. If it's gonna, I mean, are we gonna? Yeah.
No,
we're
no, we'll
talking-
get to that.
Okay.
No, it was just like, yeah, ripped off his head, and then it was like, it's on. They didn't need any commands or anything. It was
Yeah.
just, it was on.
Well, they shoot. It was already on when he started charging.
Killing their leader is.
He
the-
was charging them. What did they expect to happen?
Yeah.
He was threatening them.
Yeah.
They were
He was-
right to
He was
tear his
coming
head
right
off.
for him.
They were absolutely in the right to tear his head off.
Because Alice pulls
And if
her
you're gonna
hand
go
away.
to war, let's get on the same page here, bud.
Right.
Alice is showing Ara what could happen, and she pulls her hand away and she goes, "You've already made your decision. It doesn't even matter." And then she turns around and she goes, "Now." And then Carlisle runs. So he was told to.
He was just following the plan. That's true. They had some sort of like.
Wait,
master
what?
No, I
plan.
think like they didn't they grab? God, I wish I watched it last night. Didn't they grab one of them and then Carlisle went to go get like Alice or something?
They execute the whistleblower because it turns out that
Dummy. She's dumb. She
Renesmee.
should die, idiot.
Because it turns out Renesmee. But
She's
then
like,
they
I'm sorry.
pull
It's
the
like,
sisters
well,
back.
apologize to the fucking devil because you're going to hell.
I'm pretty sure he runs after Alice turns around and goes, "Now."
Yeah.
Well, so why the fuck does she want him to commit suicide?
It has
Well,
to be
it
the
wasn't
most absurd.
No, he was coming to save her, I think.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And
like
how'd
he
that
wanted her to
work?
commit Suicide.
I
He's
mean-
just he was a fucking chump, dude. Aro was a fucking badass. And let's talk about this for a second. The
Then-
character of Aro is the best thing about the Twilight series, hands down. Better than Charlie. I'm sorry, that actor fucking crushed it in
I
the
was-
cheesy villain department.
Listen.
He is a goat. He is
I'm
an absolute goat.
disappointed that we didn't get to see more badassery from it. He's supposed to be this all-powerful,
I agree, but
ancient vampire
it's not about the
lord.
badassery though.
And
It-
he didn't do shit. He touched
You know what he
people's
did?
hand. He could read their.
you know what he did? He
memory.
acted creepy and snapped his head around a lot.
And he
He's like,
giggled.
I wrote a
But
note.
everyone was so afraid
The
of him.
little giggle,
Why?
And he
goes,
Explain why. Yeah.
I literally have a note, Aro whipping his head around
Okay.
over and over again. There's like a part where he like does it like 3 times in a row. It's so
Explain
fucking funny.
why do people follow him? Why are people afraid of him? Explain, please.
Well, he just strategically. That's what he does. Is he collected his?
Why
his
do they
counsel.
listen? Why do they listen?
And he was pretty strong. I mean, like he wasn't like super
What was
OP
it?
or anything.
He got beat by a couple of
fucked
bozos.
Carlisle up in like half a second.
Well, Carlisle's a fucking idiot, and he
Well, I
drinks
agree, he's a
animal
chump,
blood.
but
Dude, he got killed by Bella and Edward easily. It was dumb as hell.
Well, Bella's a newborn. She's extra strong
Well,
right
but
now.
she's dumb. Newborns are easy to kill, aren't they?
No,
They're
when
stronger.
she hugged Edward for the first time, he was like, "Ow, you're so much
I know
stronger
they're
than
stronger,
me right
but like he's ancient. He knows what's up.
now."
But dude, that scene for such goofy movies, that scene was really intense. I felt like when they're initially doing the negotiations with the daughter and bringing her up to Ara, I was at the edge of my seat.
I love this movie.
I do think that the whole fight sequence and how it ended was the best part of the series.
It was so good.
Which is funny because you're saying it wasn't in the book.
Yeah. So I've never felt stupider in my life when I went to go watch that movie because I didn't want to wait to see what happened. So I only read the last half of the last book, and I was watching that. I'm like, I don't remember
How
this.
could you start midway? That's funny.
Yeah, because I've already watched the movies up to then, so I just want to see what happens.
yeah, the last movie, remember, is a part 1. So he had seen the first half of the book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
He just wanted to know how it resolved.
So when I was watching, I'm like, dude, what the fuck was I smoking that I do not remember this badass scene? I don't remember Carlisle dying, all this stuff. And I found out after the fact that it wasn't in there. I thought I skipped a chapter by accident somehow.
Also, we got to the fight, but I'd ask. I want us to take 1 or 2 steps back.
Exactly.
The army of vampires that they gather together, or rather, the army of national stereotypes that they gather together.
More racist bullshit.
It's crazy.
So
Fucking
crazy.
Pocahontas from the Amazon
Yeah.
rainforest shows up and face paint and
What
a tiny
the
little
fuck
skirt.
was going on there, dude? What is her obsession with
Native?
Brazil? Specifically Brazil. There's like Brazil references all over this entire
Just
series.
the Amazon rainforest, bro.
Right. So those are the vampires that come. They're Amazonians, which like is originally like a Greek myth or something, right? But they presumably are from the Amazon. I don't think.
Yeah.
I don't think she connected that. But then at the very end, skipping way ahead, the kid that gets brought out is also a native from Brazil, from like I guess a different set of vampires that's also in Brazil.
No, but that was his mom. They lived together, and
No, right. And so those two, but I'm saying those two are separate from the Amazonian warrior vampires.
yeah, no, they're unrelated. They're
Unrelated.
just collecting natives
Just
from all over the
different
place.
natives from
And
the Amazon.
they're all like wearing no clothing. They're like tiny little skirts and no clothing and face paint and
And in
like,
the first or second movie, Edward ran away to Brazil. He's like in Rio or something. And then also they have a compound on an island off the coast of Brazil. Why is there so much Brazil content in these movies? It's just
Let me look
bizarre.
up if
Just keeps coming up.
it's a good question, Dan.
I think
Had a good
earlier
time?
in this movie, Edward says that he wants to go to Brazil again. I had a note in here. Dude, Edward loves
Jimmy
Brazil
Lee's big
so
in Brazil.
much.
Yeah, I say, Collins and Jimmy Lee are both big in Brazil.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought the constant depiction of the natives as like some like wild. They're so like wild.
Right, yeah. No, it's all very condescending. But not just that, like, there's all of that, but then also it's like, here's the family from Ireland. Their names are Maggie and Liam and and whatever else, the most basic ass Irish names I can think of. And there were other ones too. There was like, wasn't there like a French group that was just the most stereotypical
like the-
French people imaginable?
There was
Transylvania, or not Transylvania.
Oh, actually, and so
the European
two
castle guys.
the Dracula dude.
Yeah, yeah. They
Other
took
than
our
Aro,
castle.
those were my other favorite characters. I love those guys.
Dumbasses.
the Draco
Pointless to
Malfoy
the
guy.
story. They didn't do anything.
I'll tell you one thing they do at the very end when all of the bad vampires leave and they come up and they're like, "What the fuck are you guys doing? We have them all here. They're just gonna come back and kill you later." And everybody laughs at them.
Yeah.
I was like, "They're right. You should listen to Dracula right now."
But they're stronger. Apparently.
Well, we saw in the fight that they won. I guess a lot of people.
They
died.
won, like,
they wanted to avoid the
handedly.
bloodshed.
Yeah.
They didn't even lose. Wasn't
Yeah,
even, like
they
some
lost-
of they lost some in the
Sure.
ranks, but they destroyed those.
They
ones.
basically only lost Carlisle. didn't they?
My understanding
Seems
is
like
that they would see it coming with Alice. If they were trying to plan something, Alice would see it coming and they could.
I
be
guess.
prepared.
I don't know. I was on Dracula's side.
The
there.
werewolves are bad.
Said, finish it now, bro. Finish this.
He couldn't.
I know.
That was an L.
I know.
I thought they were going to finish it too, especially in the second movie when they showed just a whole tour group of people going into Volturi chambers to be eaten. I assume that these bad guys will be dealt with by the
No,
end
they're
of the
down
series.
with that. Their homies do the same thing.
True.
There was this line.
Wait, somebody's saying Stephanie Myers did her mission in Brazil.
No,
Is that
I
true?
looked it up. She didn't do a mission.
Oh,
I know,
That
I
would've-
wish.
That would have made it all click.
I wish.
Yeah.
She fell in love with a guy named Jacob there or something.
No, I'm reading a Reddit thread that's coming to the conclusion that she's racist. So
I mean, it's kind of right. Let's see. Jacob made 20. Yeah, he made like 22 million. That's good. Good for him.
Also, again with the all the vampires that they gathered together, there was like the Revolutionary War guy who's kind of like gruff and badass or whatever, and then
The redcoats are coming.
yeah, it's just like every line is about the Revolutionary War. But then there was like another guy that looked almost just like him. That was just like a meth head dude,
Yeah.
and he just showed. And like I never really understood who he was.
He was the guy who's like, I'm going to that.
I'm going to the attic.
Yeah. They're like, touch the baby. He's like, no, I'm going to that.
I'm going to the attic. And then he's just in the background, like
No, I agree.
staring a lot.
Made no, is,
don't
There-
bats hang out in the
so
attic?
there was one.
Right, true.
Okay,
They're not even bats.
you're right.
Yeah, they're not.
That's not even a thing in this world.
You're right.
It's literally
I
like
take it back.
Carlisle's like old like pothead roommate. Because that was his old friend. They said they were old buddies.
Oh, did he mention they were old buddies? Okay.
Yeah, so that's like his
old
pothead roommate. Yeah.
Okay, so
From college.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
you think vampires play video games?
Yeah, they seem to be basically just humans.
They have so much free time. They could be crazy wowers. Imagine the hours they could put in.
Oh,
The
the 8
grinding.
That's true.
You could be.
Imagine.
They could probably compete professionally in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Dude, imagine if the
Maybe.
vampires had a symbiotic relationship with humans. Like, you could commoditize human blood and crazy. You could make like slushies. You could make all drinks.
Gamer subs.
You can make foods.
That
you
would
can
look
do
so
a lot.
good to
You
me,
can
I
make
bet.
breads. You can do all kinds with the human blood.
Well, other than the soul damnation aspect of it, if we set that aside and just exist, as it within the rules of this in a secular world, there's basically not a bad argument for just over time converting the entire human race into vampires. They just are
Well,
superior
they need
beings.
humans. They need humans
I guess.
to drink their blood.
Yeah, couldn't you? You can't like artificially produce human blood. Would it just not hit the same?
They're not very scientific.
wouldn't
They
hit the
they,
same.
they don't change. They're just like, they're old school like that. They're like,
Okay.
no, I'm from the 1500s and I don't understand anything since then.
They'd be the perfect astronauts. Just send them out in space.
Yeah, they
you think
flow
they're-
forever. That sucks.
Yeah, long missions.
You think that they're immune to like cosmic radiation?
Yeah,
That's like one of the
They don't
big
get
issues.
cancer.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Their powers are always changing. Edward just randomly, like Superman, flew through a rock. Did you see that? When he was like in that little. Is that a power? He's just strong. When he like he would like straight up went through a rock like that.
That was crazy. He fell after Rami Malek put the crack in the earth. He fell,
Oh yeah.
and then Superman his way out. Like he can fly now.
Yeah.
Dude, that crack move was
They
so.
set him up through the whole
fucking-
movie. We had like 3 setup scenes of like, whoa, he can like,
He looks
control all
badass.
the elements, and
Yeah.
he's basically Aang. Like he's
Yeah,
like
he's awesome.
he's the Avatar. And then the
totally
one time,
fumbles.
yeah, he fumbles it so fucking hard.
You know what? When you're playing like Dota,
Yeah,
and you
you-
have like the one idiot that casts his ultimate on your party.
Yes, he biffs the alt for sure.
What should he have done?
Cast it on their lines. Let's start there, or not do it.
Or just-
if it's gonna kill a bunch of your people.
Yeah, there was so
They
much
killed way
friendly
more
fire.
werewolves than
All the
vampires.
wolves like fell into the lava
Right,
pit.
that was devastating
Yeah.
to see. It really was. The
was not-
sounds of the crying
Well,
dogs.
There was one of the wolves died saving Mama Cullen. I forget her name.
Yeah, and then they went ooh, and
Renee.
then Jacob
Oh, no,
started
Esme.
crying.
Yeah. Tragic.
It was very tragic.
Also, there's lots of snow anywhere. Why couldn't he just waterbend?
Yeah, exactly. There were definitely better opportunities than the earthquake alt.
Yeah,
Can
it
he
was right
blood
there.
bend?
Use the snow, dipshit. Make
Yeah.
a spear from ice.
There you go.
Like,
Yeah.
make a bunch of ice arrows and shoot it at them.
He should just alter the blood in there. Oh, I guess they don't have blood.
Make a
werewolves,
giant
though, it can't
fucking
bloodbend.
ice.
Yeah,
no
no
blood
bloodbending.
bending.
Make an ice scythe and decapitate them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So nice that they don't have blood, because whenever they pull off their heads, there's no blood,
Nice
which
and
I'm
clean.
grateful
Clean.
about.
Nice clean break.
There's this
Popping
one
a
line
can of soda.
that's almost like they're breaking the third wall, and it made me giggle so much
There
because
is usually the 4th wall that you break.
oh, I break the third.
Okay.
You're that in tune with your
I'm ahead.
audience.
I'm ahead. I don't wait for the fourth one.
Uh-huh.
You should see me when I break the second wall. I think it's when the Amazon guys came out, and they're like, "Actually, I'm half vampire."
So
And then they immediately were like, "Oh, okay, I believe you." And then one of the characters was like, "Well, that was easy."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yeah, this movie's dumb. That was easy and stupid."
when he just appears and just walks in a straight line really slowly across the snow directly at them, just like, hey,
What the fuck is this?
I'm here to solve all of the problems and resolve the entire plot.
This is Edward flying through a rock.
He's so talented.
I'm not surprised he could do that. They're strong as shit.
He
got a
never-
lot
That's
of air,
wrong, usually.
and it was like led by his fist.
Yeah, he's never done that before.
I gotta pee again. I'm drinking a lot of water.
What is happening?
I'll be quick with it.
bro?
I'll be so quick with it. You can
Quick with
keep
it.
going. I'll keep going.
No, we should mute your mic if you're gonna go into the bathroom. Yeah, you're muted.
How did she not eat her?
We should say that you and I actually met for the first time about 30 minutes ago.
Right.
You were wearing a bathrobe, swimming trunks, and you were smoking what I believe to be.
I was holding what you believe to be a. You cannot prove that I was smoking, unless you want to do a blood test right now.
Okay, can we?
No. I'm just you get a warrant.
Okay.
Is what I'll
Okay.
say.
Right. Yeah. So
Okay.
starting this interview off.
Are you
like
a cop?
Yeah.
Are you a cop? You have to tell them if you're a cop.
I'm not a cop.
Or this entire interview is entrapment.
I'm not a cop.
Okay. My life's an open book.
Is it?
I think so.
I believe that.
Good. then I've fooled you already. What's going on over here? Are those our people? Can we stop whatever that's going on? Hey! Lock it down! Everybody wants to be in show business.
How are you? How's work? Super normal?
Yeah, it actually is. Strangely, everything is normal because the show's never normal. The show changes every day. And it's ending in May, I've been informed. But I got 9 months of shows to do. You know, I can't be thinking about it ending in May. I got to think about the show on Monday. So when you say, how's the show? Perfectly normal? Well, yeah. I mean, it wasn't that normal when I had to tell everybody that the show was ending. But then, you know, the next Monday I had to do a show.
Yeah. Does 9 months feel like a long time or a short time right now?
The end has a discernible shape, but it still seems like a long way away.
Can you describe that shape?
The image I have is a man walking toward me in the dusk, and he's got something in his hand, and I don't know if it's a knife or an ice cream cone, but he's asking me if I'd like a lick.
You can't tell if this is a bit or this is real if you're haunted by
What are you talking about? Why would this be a bit? And by the way, it is hard to tell whether things are real or a bit sometimes, to me.
Yes, you're in an interesting business for that.
Yeah, every day you have to come up with a bit about something that was real.
You've been attaching your mouth to the exhaust pipe of news for, I don't know.
That sounds vaguely suicidal.
Yeah,
You've been running your car in the closed garage of media. Yeah, I mean, listen, it's possible that George Cheek saved my life. So I'll get a little oxygen back into my brain. Do you know what I mean? It really does. It feels like, I really feel like you can only talk every night, do jokes every night, with your friends, obviously, but do the jokes every night, year after year, for 20 years. If you give a damn at all about what you're talking about, and I do, but there is a sense of relief that I might not have to put on the snorkel and get into the sewer every day.
Do you have any coping mechanisms when you kind of have to interact with this so relentlessly?
Yeah, the show itself. I think the commonality between the shows since they began, even though tonally they've changed, is that it is in some way reflective of the national conversation. And then you have your part of that conversation that night at the audience, or sometimes with a guest. So you have to be well versed in it. So you have to have a lot of information. But also then you get to go say how you feel about it every night with an audience. And, you know, what do we most want to be? Not alone. And I'm not alone when I'm with the audience. You know, the great thing about comedy, not to take anything away from drama, but the great thing about comedy is that you know when it works. The audience makes this noise with their mouth, and that can't really be faked. When it's really working well, you walk off stage with more energy than when you walked on stage. Like, I've never been sick on stage. I've been very sick. I did a show last year where I had a burst appendix, and I did a double show. I didn't know my appendix was burst. I didn't know what was wrong with me, but I was like sweating and thought I might pass out, and I was in so much pain that I was crying in commercial breaks. But doing the show, I could just get through it. I did 2 shows. I did a double show that night, and then afterwards, my wife made sure that my driver took me straight to the hospital, and I got there, and they said, "Oh, you have a burst appendix. We have to take this out right now." You know, laughter is the best medicine, and boy, the only better medicine than that is making other people laugh.
And yet the show is ending. I mean,
and yet the show is ending. Really early on in the old Colbert Report, we liked the idea that the character didn't know he was on Comedy Channel because he took himself very seriously, you know, Comedy Channel, and he really was changing the course of human history with the tractor beam of his own justice. And so, of course, there was other news shows on Comedy Central, and we were the last show on. And so we would toss, the way John would toss to me from The Daily Show, we would toss to the morning show on Comedy Central, which we called YAD, which stood for Yet Another Day. And I love the desperation of that, of having to go on and do yet another day. So, and yet, however how much I enjoy it or the audience might enjoy it, yes, the show is ending.
Have you wrapped your head around it?
No, not at all.
What did you feel when you found out?
I was surprised. I was surprised.
Why?
Listen, every show's got to end, but I think we're the first #1 show to ever get canceled.
Thinking about that, yeah, you guys have been #1 since 2016.
Exactly, and I called a friend of mine who's also in late night, and I said, "You got any thoughts on this?" And he goes, "No one's gonna have any thoughts on this. No one's ever been the #1 show for like 9 years in a row and then be canceled." We ended Strangers with Candy, which is a show I did 25 years ago. They wouldn't tell us that we were canceled, but at the upfronts, we weren't announced. because we were still shooting through the summer. At the upfronts, they wouldn't tell us. They didn't announce our show, and they announced the schedule of the show, and we were nowhere on the schedule. And our slot on Sunday nights had a show called Strip Mall in it. And we said, "What is going on? Are you canceling our show?" And they said, "No decisions have been made." And so we said, "Fuck that! We're definitely canceled." And we wanted to end, by our own light. And so the school that Flat Point High, the school that we were in, slowly it's revealed that the school board has sold it, and it's being turned into a strip mall. And so like the history class is now a sticky buttery, and the science class is now a dry cleaners. But they keep on saying no decision's been made. And at the end of it, we blew up the school and murdered the school board. But so I had that plan, and then when I knew my last when I signed my 2012 contract for the Colbert Report, I went to my assistant. I said, "Hey, what's our last show of 2014?" She goes, "Looks like December 18th." I said, "Oh, good to know." And I started writing that last show myself. But I had a plan of how to end it. I knew the songs we're going to sing. I knew the jokes we're going to do. I knew how I wanted shot, everything. This is not my choice. I don't know what we're going to do with the last 9 months, because everything we do on a nightly basis takes everything we know how to do. So, people have asked me, "Well, what do you think you're going to do next?" The honest answer is I just want to land this plane gracefully in a way that I find satisfying, given how much effort we put into it for the last 10 years.
When they called you and told you,
they didn't call me and tell me.
Oh, they didn't? What happened?
My manager told me.
Okay. So no one called you?
No.
When they called your manager?
They told him, and he told me. And he said, "Hey, do you have 15 minutes? I'm going to stop by. Do you have 15 minutes?" And I said, "Sure." So I got off, and I said to my assistant, I said, "So Baby Doll wants," because James Baby Doll Dix, Baby Doll wants 15 minutes in person. I mean, it's usually like 5 minutes on the phone is an hour with him. So when 15 minutes comes by, my assistant texted me. I said, "It's going to be a bit," because that's when he'd already. It
might be a little longer. Yeah.
I was so tired. I was lying down on my couch, with a pillow over my eyes, going, "Hey James, what's going on? What's going on?" And
so you were in the perfect position.
Oh, perfect position. I was prone. He told me. He sort of that, "Yeah, this is gonna be the last season." So I sat up. I was like, "Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. I did not expect that." And then we talked for hours. We just talked for hours. And then I went home, and my wife, who was expecting me home in 15 minutes, and because this is in the city, and she said, "That was 2.5 hours." She goes, "What happened? Did you get canceled?" And I said, "Yep." And she went, "No." I said, "Yeah, no, we did."
Did they?
And so we sat down. She got me a drink, and we sat and talked about okay, what do you want to do next? That was it.
Really?
Yeah.
By the way.
Listen, she's a breathtakingly level-headed girl, and she could tell I was upset. And she said, "I want you to let go of that upset, and understand."
Were you able to?
I'll do anything she says. And she's much smarter than I. She's way smarter. Like, people think I'm smart. I'm not really smart. I have a good memory. I know a lot of people smarter than I am. Like my old writing partner, Paul Dinella, who's one of our producers. Jon Stewart's more smarter than I am. My wife is smarter than I am. And they almost always give me the same advice. And hers was, "I want you to let go of how angry you are. And I want you to think about what a gift the show has been and to work with these people."
Did the explanation provided to your manager, not you, make sense to you? What was it?
They're getting out of the late night space altogether because it's no longer profitable for the network. And I said, "Well, if we can't be, then no one can be." Look, they run the business and I run the show. And far be it from me to tell them how to run their business. But I'll stick with, I found it very surprising.
Did you find what they said plausible? Do you believe it?
Television's in huge trouble. Maybe David Ellison will fix everything. No, seriously, maybe he will. But it's clear that television is in a lot of transitions. It's been going on for a long time. But that's not my end of the business. My end of the business is the jokes.
Tell me if I have the sequence of events correct, but CBS pays President Donald Trump a settlement, $60 million, which you called a bribe on air.
Please, don't get me a lawsuit here.
Yeah,
I said
allegedly.
I believe that there is a name for that, and it would be big fat bribe.
And shortly after that, show's canceled, and so
2 days later.
Yes, politicians come out like Elizabeth Warren Amschiff and say, if this is politically motivated, the American people deserve to know.
By the way, everything you're telling me right now, you have to tell me right now, because I don't read about myself.
Really?
Yeah. Who'd you say?
Adam Schiff.
Elizabeth Warren. Well, good for them. I mean, that's not my job. That's not my reaction to it. My reaction as a professional in show business is to go, that is the network's decision. I can understand why people would have that reaction, because CBS or the parent corporation, I'm not going to say who made that decision, because I don't know. No one's ever going to tell us. Decided to cut a check for $16 million to the President of the United States over a lawsuit that their own lawyers, Paramount's own lawyers, said is completely without merit. And it is self-evident that is damaging to the reputation of the network, the corporation, and the news division. So it is unclear to me why anyone would do that other than to curry favor with a single individual. And so if people have theories that associate me with that, it's a reasonable thing to think, because CBS, or the corporation, clearly did it once. But my side of the street is clean, and I have no interest in picking up a broom or adding to refuse on the other side of the street. Not my problem. So people can have their theories. I have my feelings about not doing the show anymore, but you'd have to show me why that's a fruitful relationship for me to have with my network for the next 9 months for me to engage in that speculation. Because I have had great relationship with CBS. It's one of the reasons why this was so surprising and so shocking, that there was no preamble to this. But I meant what I said the next night after I found out. They've been great partners.
The Tiffany Network, yeah.
Yeah, they really have. They've been very supportive. Like, it took us 6 to 9 months to find our legs. Even before people watched the show, we didn't quite figure out what we wanted to do. It didn't come fully assembled out of the box the way the Colbert Report did. They stood by us, and they were very supportive, and they gave us what we needed. And we found it, and we delivered for them what we wanted. I mean, you're number one. Why do you want to be number one? To brag? No.
I was going to ask if you're competitive.
What? Well, yeah, of course you're competitive. But I really like the other guys. We're all friends. I didn't want to be number one to let me show you. The best reason to be number one is that the network does not fuck with you. That is the best reason to be number one. And we enjoyed 9 unfucked years. Really.
There is, you alluded to it, there's kind of like a macro conversation about, does the late night format even make sense anymore?
Why? They said it.
Right.
I'm just telling you what they said.
Right. And
it might be. I don't know. You can't really do a show in the Ed Sullivan Theater at 11:35 on CBS with a band and sketches and field shoots and stuff like that for the cost of a podcast. And if you look and say, oh, look, this is what a podcast makes, this is what these shows make, then you're keeping these shows on because you love the form, or because you love that it's one of the oldest forms in television, which through radio is connected to vaudeville. Like, there's this great tradition of what we do. So to me, it seems indispensable as part of some Americans' experience or daily experience. But I can understand from a business point of view that they go, well, that is meaningless to me as someone who has to answer to a board of directors and investors.
I'm curious what you feel like the great affirmative case is for a show like yours.
Why should shows like mine continue to exist, or like Kimmel or Jimmy or wherever?
And I said everyone plays a great affection, which is why I'm saying.
I said why? Oh, we're like your friend who at the end of the day paid attention to the news more than you did. And you're aware of it, you just didn't do the detail work that we did. And then we curate that back to you at the end of the day. But it's really more about how we feel about it, or I as the person who is the vehicle for that, how we felt about today. All those things that might have made you confused or angry or anxious or happy or surprised or something like that. I feel that way at the camera, or to the audience, really. I'm really performing for the audience and the camera. captures it, as opposed to the Colbert Report, which is I played for the camera and the audience got to witness it. I share those feelings with the audience, and they laugh or they don't laugh, and there's a sense of community there. And the demographics of these shows are interesting too. It's about a third, a third, a third. It's about a third Republicans, third Democrats, third Independents. You think, old, people perceive me as this sort of lefty figure. I think I'm more conservative than people think. I just happen to be talking about a government in extremis.
Yeah.
And so what I'm giving you is my reaction video to the day. and my reaction video is like, is like the Scream.
Yeah.
In a way. but with jokes.
Well, with jokes, yeah.
And so that perceives me as more left necessarily than I am, because I'm not sure what other reaction would be an honest one. It's hard to have a balanced reaction to the idea of troops on street of a city that actually is not undergoing an invasion. Is any other reaction honest other than to
horror?
Yeah. And so, but jokes about the horror, not the horror.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I don't
Which is
like one. And so those two things together, or those three things together, is the beginning of a case of why these shows should exist.
So, prior to this show, you played a character for a long time.
Previously on Stephen Colbert.
Right. And then, so how has it been spending the last 10 years, more or less, as, like, would you call the guy who hosts your show yourself?
Yeah, it's pretty close. I mean, it's a performance persona. I mean, there are times when it's very close to me, especially if there's something that cannot receive a joke. I choose not to talk about tragedy on my show because I think that's sacred, but there are things that are unavoidable that are happening in our country. And because I talk about what's happening in America today, I mean, just the other night with the tragic shooting of Charlie Kirk, that required me to, at the very top of the show, just to say, listen, I just want to tell you, we created everything for you tonight.
And that was you. Yeah.
That's me. I mean, me isn't always sad, horrified guy, but yeah, it's me. I don't generally say or do things that I don't mean on the show unless I'm in character, like in a sketch. Whereas at the Colbert Report, it was almost nothing. Basically, it was Catholic and Lord of the Rings were the only two things that we had in common.
How do you look back on that character now?
Fondly. A lot of people thought you couldn't sustain it, and I always thought I could, because a mask is such a gift for me, at least as a performer, because I'm really, all my training and my entire career until I did the show was as an actor. And the Colbert Report was a almost 10-year scene.
Yeah.
That I did, and we had a Bible for the character. We kept like a running Bible. What does he believe? What does he not believe? What's his back history? What's his relationship with other people? Why was he a friend of King Shuyagarta? All those kind of things.
There was a moment when it really felt like people thought, I think in retrospect, I had forgotten about this energy, but it was there, that you and Jon Stewart were going to like save the Republic somehow,
I promise you, we did not share that feeling.
That was going to be my question.
I said to Jon, right as we're coming to the end, especially when reflecting back on the rally to restore sanity / march to keep fear alive. He was doing the rally to restore sanity, and I was doing the march to keep fear alive. And I like to remind him that I won, that we kept fear alive. But one of the things that I said to Jon toward the end of when we were doing those shows together, I said, what's funny to me is everybody thought that we wanted to be players. Like when we did that, people were like, they're trying to actuate the youth vote. Nothing, no part of it. We saw that was a new context. People were doing their own big outside rallies, and it had nothing to do with us trying to be political players. There's a great moment in The Lord of the Rings when Gandalf says, one of our great hopes here is that it is not entered into Sauron's darkest dreams that we would ever want to destroy the ring. And so I always felt that Jon was Frodo and I was Sam. And all I wanted to do was help him. Like, we wanted to throw the ring in the fire. Now, what is the ring? I guess it's power for the sake of power, as opposed to power for the sake of service. Do you know?
Do you feel like that came with you to the Tonight Show?
That's all right. That's all right. You can call it Tonight Show.
The Tonight Show, which
Nick Cavett show.
For
I took over for Cavett.
Yeah, the Johnny Carson show.
The Johnny Carson show. Purposefully not at first, actually. We tried to avoid politics, actually, first, because we'd done 10 years of it. I really wanted to find a way to lay down that sword and shield down by the riverside, because it doesn't do me no good. I'm not a warrior. I'm a comedian. You don't want to be the guy in front of the parade with a banner. And it wasn't until the political campaign of 2016 really started cooking that I realized, again, that you cannot do these shows unless you're talking about something you really care about that's in the daily conversation. And then it wasn't so much, I cared about what at the time seemed like a dangerous thing, to clothe someone like Donald Trump, to clothe him in the power and dignity of the office. Because then people only see the clothing of the dignity and the power of that office. Then it provides dignity and status to everything the person does.
Did you then, or do you now enjoy having to react to Donald Trump every night?
No, I don't. I'm grateful to be able to react because, again, it's a selfish endeavor. I get a lot out of going out there and doing jokes about what happened today, no matter what happened today. But especially if I see something that's detrimental to the American people and to the reputation of a country that is irreplaceable. There'll never be another America. But it doesn't mean it's invincible. Well, that weighs on your heart, just as an American to see that. I mean, depending on point of view. And I'm grateful to go do the jokes. But your question was,
did you enjoy reacting?
Do I enjoy?
Yeah.
I enjoy going doing the jokes and being with the audience. When he wasn't in office, I think we went 3 years without saying his name.
Really?
Yeah. And if he made news, we would just come up with some nickname. Matter of fact, we invited the audience to give me new nicknames so I wouldn't run out. So you're not just doing like Cheeto Man or whatever, something like that. So we would credit people. If I said the name, we would put their name up on the screen with their Twitter handle or something like that. I love not talking about it.
When he was reelected, was there a part of you, not the citizen part, but the professional part that was like, I can't believe we have to do this again? I
mean, that would be all parts of me then. Yeah. Like, I know how to titrate poison. Do you know what I mean?
Better than most, I think.
Well, you titrate poison with your own jokes and your own editorial stance on it, and how you push back on what you think is the lie that is telling you this is vitamins. But there's no doubt that it's poisonous.
Is there a part of you, I kind of asked this earlier, but is like, I'm going to be free soon? I'm not going to have to think about this?
Well, I mean, I'm an American. I'm not going to be free of it. I'm still going to care. I'll miss the ability to go out there and make jokes on it.
You'll miss it.
I will miss every aspect of my job other than wearing makeup.
Do you feel like it's become intrinsic to your identity somehow to be the host of the show?
No, I know who I am without this. I didn't do any of this till I was 41. I was given one of these jobs old.
You have talked about being younger and struggling with anxiety and depression and finding the solution in work and performing and writing, creating.
I've had sort of recreational anxiety for a lot of my life, starting in my teens. I had different answers then. Well, that was checking out was basically back then, just never doing my schoolwork, only reading the books I want, eventually smoking a lot of weed, stuff like that, which I passed through and moved on. But when I was 30, I had nervous breakdown. And I was newly married, didn't know what I was going to do, suddenly was panicked that I had chosen something to do with my life that wouldn't give me the life I wanted. And I don't mean that I wouldn't be successful, but that somehow the life I had chosen would not allow me to be a husband and a father in the way that I wanted to be, because of the demands of how hard it is to, the sacrifices you have to make. There's no art without discipline, and there's no discipline without sacrifice. I believe that's Antonio Cadiz, the Spanish flamenco dancer. And so I was worried that I had set myself to do the kind of work I would do that I wouldn't actually be able to live the kind of life I wanted. And I had a nervous breakdown. And I tried Xanax and stuff like that, but I could still feel the gears smoking. You know what I mean? I couldn't hear them anymore, but I could smell them smoking. Yeah. And so I stopped, and I just raw dogged it. And I woke up one morning and my skin wasn't on fire. And what was different? Oh, it was the first day of rehearsal for the new show.
So that's what I'm asking is.
And that's what I'm answering. Yeah. It's just it's a long answer. It's that it's not like, comedy keeps me sane. No, making things, making anything. I probably could do it if I was going to build a boat. If I'm making something, there's something about that act of creating that gives me great solidity. It puts my feet on the ground. I love process. And I woke up one day and I thought, oh my God, I get to go work. And then I thought, oh no, now I can never stop working. Because I used to think that. Now I actually think that a lot of those things that caused me great anxiety, I have already passed through the fire of that trial in that stage of my life. And I'm not a young man full of doubt anymore. And I think that if I stopped work, if I chose to, like, next May I'm done and I get a, catamaran and just sail, I don't think that would come back. I really feel like that's no longer who I am.
Is there a part of you that's tempted to get a catamaran and just sail when May comes around?
Yeah, there is.
Do you fantasize about walking away from showbiz?
No, because I love creating things and I love I still want to work with the people I work with. I don't know how you work with 200 people. I brought them all out for the Emmys, so we could all celebrate together. Because I love them, and I don't mistake work for family. Family's your family, and your work's your work. But my affection and my appreciation for them is genuine.
But then, so the Dodgers are the now back-to-back world champs. Yay! Today's episode is sponsored by Monarch Money. Thank you so much to them, by the way. And I will say,
or if there's something live to watch, we could watch that. Sumo wrestling? Really? I'm hype. I don't know what that guy just said. These guys are young. 19-year-old? So you are like, it's like you're from a... This little guy is, you got this shit, man. Oh, man, the little guy's struggling. Damn. Handshake? The little guy, this doesn't seem like a fair fight at all. Holy shit, look at the fucking ref. This is the coolest shit I've seen all week. They're so fat. And it's interesting because they don't really need to move and exercise for too long. It needs to just last like 30 seconds, right? Oh, that guy's going for the mouth. The guy on the right is going for the mouth. Is that legal? Oh, is that legal? He's a mouth? Oh, get his ass, fat fuck. Toss that fat motherfucker. Did you see that guy? He got him. The fat guy on the right was like 100 hands slapping him right in the mouth. It looked like his thumb was going in his mouth and shit. The other guy was hand slapping his fat titties around. Nice titties, bitch. Oh. Is that wait a minute. You can do that? You can backdash when the round starts? No way. This guy's singing about how that guy got owned a second ago, dude. He's saying the names of the next fighters. You are kidding me. You are kidding me. So he's doing the shit where they go, Arslan, Ash. He's doing that. Is it not always better to bet on the fatter guy? Is that foolish? But in this fatter guy's case, look at how tightly the bandages are wrapped around his knees. Maybe he's got bad knees. Maybe it's the fatness that have caused his knees to be weak. Man, and fat face, too. Look out for headbutts. That shit is devastating, dude. Let's go. Thank you. Let's go. Wow. Weak knees, dude. Look at that little bitch. Man, tossed his ass. So then, you saw that, right? My prediction was correct. Initially, I was going on who was the fattest. But when you look more carefully, you saw he had some weak bitch knees. You need weight-bearing knees, dude. You need some serious knees. This guy doesn't have any knee support, which means he's got serious knees. Whoa! Whoa! What the fuck just happened? He just watered the... Oh. It's like a Zamboni, an ancient Japanese Zamboni. See, look at the knee. Look at the knees, dude. You always got to look at that knee. Both of them have... Dude, the little guy is really little. Do they not have rules in this? That's a big difference. I was going to root against the weak knee having Fatso on the right, but the guy on the left is barely even fat by U.S. standards. He just looks like a regular fat dude here. He's going to get clobbered. You better have technique. You got no... Nah, you don't... No fucking way. This guy didn't stand a fucking chance, dude. Didn't even stand a chance. That guy's not even a sumo wrestler. He's just a guy. Where he's a poser. Not fat enough. Better hit the golden corral. Dude, what the fuck happens when this happens? Stalemate? Immovable objects, dude. Hurry it up, dude. Action. Oh, baited. Dude, the tactics there. The tactics, the icing. That was fucking cheating. They're both so fat. And it's like, who's gonna... Anyway, what? I'm on... Hey, my break didn't start yet. It starts now. Oh my god! He got fucking tossed, dude. Holy shit, dude. You better retire. Take that shit off, dude. Take that shit off. You better bow. That guy got fucking tossed like a kid. That was Kramer. He threw his ass. Damn, look at this ninja. The announcer is a real ninja. So that's like the Tasty Steve? Steve, you really need to step your shit up. This guy is fucking owning you. This isn't the first time I've seen sumo. I've seen sumo one time where there was a wardrobe malfunction and everything must go, dude. Ass, balls, the works, dude. That shit was crazy. That shit was crazy. It happens. Because, you know, they're like really fucking with each other, you know, yanking and doing 100 hands. Of course, on occasion, damn, man. They really show you the whole undercarriage, too. That's fucking weird. It's like a wonder of mankind. Holy moly, dude. The guy on the left is very fat. They eat a lot? You don't say. That's weird. I didn't expect that. I don't know what to think. That guy on the right is so fat. I don't know who to root for. Left guy is dead? Alright, left guy, you got this. I'll root for you. Dude, the guy on the right has like varicose veins all over him. Alright, dude. Left, you could do this shit. He is fat, though. Oh, he's fat. Come on, man. Yeah, push his fat ass out. Yeah, that's right. You see that? I told you. He's too fat. I believed in the little guy. I called it. I believed. He was really fat, though. Look at the way his legs, even when he's standing up straight, you see how this guy, he's walking like a regular man? The guy had like this, the other fat guy's legs were like he's riding a fucking horse, but there's no horse under him. I believe in the guy on the right, dude. The guy on the right's got no reason to not root for him except this guy is fatter. That's it. He's got this. Get his ass right here. Oh, he survived the beginning. Uh-oh. Second wind. This fat fuck's got a second wind. Toss his fat ass. No. Yeah, hang in there. Momentum. Twist him. Okay, yeah, he's getting tired. Be cool. Don't let him recover. He's fat. What are you doing, man? Tickling competition. You're letting him recover. Look at him. He's fucking breathing like crazy. Toss his fat ass. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, my God. humongous fat guy just laughed. They do? Oh my god, that must be like a high risk salary job. Working with like Shamu or some shit. That is crazy. Splash Zone. Yeah. The refs have their own ranks. If they have a high rank, they can wear sandals. So this ref is weak because he's barefoot, even though he looks sick. Damn, the ultimate referees have sandals? Whoa.
Thank you.
High level gear. Whoa. Whoa. That's cool. Slap this motherfucker. I'm going for right. I mean left. Man, fuck. Right when I said right? Oh, shit. Man, they're so fat. These guys are buff as hell? You must be real buff too then. You must be really buff. I think one's gonna win.
Thank you.
Left. Left. Woo. He's got the advantage. No. Defended! Defended the Ochio! Holy shit. Hell no, you can't hook these tree trunks. Pushes that. Oh my god! Who won? Double KO? The judges are. Oh! The council! The council is convening. Oh shit, slow-mo replay. He defended. Who do you think won this?
Thank you.
Definitely the guy who threw him. The guy who threw him, right? He got fucked up. Damage. You think left won? The guy who did the sumo throw won. To be honest with you, I don't remember who I was rooting for. When they switched sides, I couldn't tell who was who anymore. They were both so fat. But the guy who threw him, I think, won. They gotta do something about like they gotta do like something to tell one player from two player better sometimes. You know? 2P outfits need to change. Do you think that these guys are fat and do this to exercise, or do you think that they get fat to do this? Like, do these fat dudes get fat to do this? They get fat? So, are you sure that these aren't just a bunch of fat dudes who need to work out so they go do sumo as exercise? Slap him. Wow, he's fucked. Oh, technique sidestep. Now he's... Holy shit, that was a position change. He was about to get wrung out and he fucking... He's going for it again. Holy shit. Double position change. Triple position change, almost. The crowd sees that shit's hype. Oh! Man, that was crazy. That was like a time up. Exhausted. Better go eat. He's very fat. He's fatter. But the guy on the left also has a knee brace. I think I got right. I think I got O and O. You're rooting for left? I got right. Attack! Look at right. He's so wide, dude. Look how wide he's so fat. He gave up, dude. This wide motherfucker just gave up. Did you see that? He gave up, man. He doesn't have heart. They don't wear cups. They don't wear cups. But, you know, they don't really need cups because they're so fat. Relative, like your balls don't get fat. So relative to their bodies, their balls are so small, they're protected. They're like way in there. You know? Hold on. Holy fucking shit. at the guy on the left, the poor guy. What is he gonna do? Backdash. You need a backdash, dude. What he needs to do, match start, backdash, and then sidestep right. The fat guy's going down, dude. He's too fat. There's no way that you could control that shit. Look at the difference in girth on ankles. Look at the ankle girth difference. Look at the girth. Look at this guy's little ankles versus this shit. Sidestep left, just as good. Nice work. Sidestep left. He's too fat, dude. Oh no, career ender? He'll be okay. Get him a couple of chicken wings. He'll be all right. That guy is so fat. Those sumo guys eat 6,000 calories a day. You know what I heard? I don't know what the number is, but I heard that the human body can only absorb so many calories per day. So, let's say the number is like 6,000 calories. You can't get any fatter than that per day. So what that means is if you're able to hit that limit, anything you eat after that is free. You can't get fatter than that. Think of it that way. So all you gotta do is get to that cap, and everything you eat after that cap is basically fat-free. Diet. Think about it, man. 0 calorie fried chicken. 0 calorie gravy. Because you reach the cap. You can't get fatter than that in one day. Think about it. That's crazy. You never thought of that shit, did you? Oh, slammed. Holy oh, what the hell? Oh, shit. I thought there was, like, more damage than it looked, but it was just his tassels. What's up with the tassels? They're just like, they don't seem like they have any purpose. They remind me of those feelers that tell you how far you are from the curb on, like, old-ass Cadillacs. It's just like lingerie. It's drip. Holy shit, he is so fat. That is crazy. The music changes when he gets on screen. Oh my lord. I got right all day. That fat guy is so fat. I'm not gonna bet on that, dude. Oh, was that his balls? Is that balls? Are those balls? Or is that just like miscellaneous? Oh my lord. Oh, are those balls? I think those are balls. This is a lot cooler than watching those things where it's like My 500-Pound Life, where they're so fat and they talk about how much they eat and they don't move. This is pretty cool because they're like fucking each other up. It's like bum fights, but like with fat people. You know? Fat bum. Damn! Oh, he saved his life, man. If he had pushed him, he would have gone through the wall. Nothing would have stopped him. He saved him. He fucking put the brakes on his ass, dude. He was about to kill 2 or 3 audience members, man. That was fucking... He's lucky that guy has honor. That was gonna be crazy. That guy on the right is fat as fuck, dude. When their outfits are like holding everything up. Sidestep left didn't work. Dodge! Sidestep left! He sidestepped left and then fucking pushed his ass. Get the fuck out, dude. That was sick. Double sidestep left. He got to his back, pushed his fat ass out. Nice game, nice game. That was sick. Fat as fuck. He's not ready. Push his ass. He's a cheater. Push his ass. He's icing you. He iced you. Don't fall for it. Sidestepping. Sidestepping. Toss him. Uh-oh. This is a long... Oh, shit. Damn, nice. Dude, the sidestep really paid off there. Nice. The lateral movement. They're so fast. How could they put the brakes? You can't stop. He's so fat. He can't stop. That was sick. Lateral movement won that one. Circling and then jerking. Jerkling. So fat. You know, on the one hand, these like matches are making me want to like diet and maybe do some exercise, but on the other hand, I'm also getting kind of hungry. Who are you rooting for, hairy guy? Wolverine? Fat Wolverine? Healing powers aren't working too well today. Oh, Fat Wolverine doesn't have the bulk. He doesn't have the bulk needed, but maybe he's got the stamina and technique. He's got the technique. Oh! Ocho. He threw his ass. Technique beats brawn. Hairy guy. Maybe that's not hair. Maybe it's dirt. Whoa. Oh man, aggressive. But he survived the initial onslaught. Oh, he gave up, man. These guys, some of them have no heart, dude. Some of them give up too early. You could tell the ones that have heart because they like go all the way. They get slammed. They're just cashing checks. Yeah, they're in it for the big bucks. They're just cashing checks. I wonder how much they make. How much do you think sumo wrestlers make? Top ranked sumos get 30K a month. Did you?
Just not. Just let me know.
In early 1972, a probe known as Pioneer 10 was launched into space on a mission to the largest planet in the solar system. After millennia of speculation and wonder, humanity got its first close-up view of Jupiter. Accelerated by the immense gravity of the planet, Pioneer 10 was then catapulted into deep space, destined to leave the solar system and roam the galaxy for billions of years. On the off chance that this vestige of humanity should one day be intercepted by an alien intelligence, it was affixed with a message. A message designed to answer three central questions.
Where we are, when we are, and who we are.
More than half a century has now passed since the launch of our first galactic emissary, and in that time we've made numerous attempts to communicate with life beyond, either by attaching greeting cards to probes headed for interstellar space, or by targeting our cosmic neighbors with high-powered beams of light. So far, humanity's been left unread, but that could change at any moment. As long as we keep making noise, there's always a chance we'll be heard. An exceedingly slim chance, as we'll see, but a non-zero chance nonetheless. Given the paradigm-shifting potential of contacting beings from another world, it sure would be nice to know what exactly we've been telling them all these years. I mean, don't get me wrong, where we are, when we are, and who we are sounds really neat and all, but it's not exactly rich in detail. So let's start with that plaque on Pioneer 10. What does it say, and more importantly, to whom should I direct my anger when the aliens arrive to harvest my bones? The idea to attach a message to Pioneer 10 was the brainchild of journalist and author Eric Burgess. Less than 4 months before the probe was scheduled to launch, Burgess approached famed astronomer and science communicator Carl Sagan, who in turn relayed the proposal to NASA. Sagan was given 3 weeks to devise the message, and with the help of his wife and artist Linda, as well as fellow astronomer Frank Drake, they scrambled together a series of pictograms etched into a gold-laden plate of aluminum. In the words of Sagan, it is written in the only language we share with recipients: science. Near the upper left corner, we find a diagram of hydrogen, the simplest and most abundant element in the universe. one electron bound to a proton. More specifically, the diagram depicts a single atom of hydrogen transitioning from one energy state to another, which is meant to be conveyed by this horizontal line here in the middle. This shift in energy is known as a hyperfine transition, and it's accompanied by the emission of a radio wave. That radio wave has a very specific frequency that's so prominent across the universe that we've given it a name, the hydrogen line. Something that beings of sufficient intelligence to capture a drifting spacecraft would no doubt be aware of as well. In human terms, it has a frequency of about 1,420 megahertz, which means that each cycle of the wave has a period of about 0.7 nanoseconds and a corresponding length of roughly 21 centimeters. The recipients would obviously express their measurements using something other than nanoseconds and centimeters. But what's important here is that they're measuring the same thing and that that thing never changes. The duration of one wave cycle and the distance covered during that cycle remains the same across the universe. This allows us to establish a shared unit of both time and length. We're basically telling the aliens to treat their measurement of the hyperfine transition of neutral hydrogen as one unit of time and one unit of length. That's why there's a vertical line here in the middle, which is meant to convey the concept of one in binary. But of course, hydrogen is merely one of many possible interpretations of this diagram. The aliens could just as easily think it's some sort of language, technology, star system, or literally anything else. To help them narrow down the list, the plaque includes 3 outlined silhouettes of a man, a woman, and Pioneer 10. These illustrations were drawn to scale so the aliens can use the spacecraft's diameter as a basis for deriving the height of the 2 figures in the foreground. In human terms, that would make the man approximately 182 centimeters and the woman about 169. The woman's height has been further emphasized by 2 demarcation marks along the right edge here. Between them is a sequence of 4 lines representing the number 8 in binary. The purpose of this number is to communicate to the aliens that the woman is 8 times as tall as the wavelength of the hydrogen line. In human terms, that's about 169, just like the woman's height relative to the probe's diameter. In other words, the interpretation of this as a schematic of hydrogen and the interpretation of this as an outline of the spacecraft are mutually corroborative. They provide the aliens with a means of deriving the height of this figure on the basis of 2 distinct measurements, which should help them narrow down the list of possible interpretations. At least, that was the idea. But when you actually measure the height of the couple relative to this sketch of the probe, you quickly realize they're about 10 centimeters too tall. While I have no way of confirming this, I suspect the source of this discrepancy is that the Reflect Edition Pioneer 10 is not the perfect circle. It's slightly wider in this dimension than in this one, known as a major and minor axis. If we assume that this outline of the probe is oriented with a minor axis along the vertical, the relative height of the couple is indeed what you'd expect. But if that is what the Sagans and Drake intended, only 2 of the 3 antenna struts should be visible here in the front. The fact that all 3 have been drawn on the plaque implies the probe is oriented with a major axis along the vertical, thereby increasing the couple's height by roughly 10 centimeters. Nevertheless, it's hardly surprising for an oversight like this to go unnoticed, given they only had 3 weeks to assemble everything, and Sagan acknowledged they could have done a better job had they not been so pressed for time. Moving on to the left side of the plaque, we find a starburst pattern of 15 straight lines emanating from a central point. This is a galactic map of pulsars that's meant to help the aliens pinpoint the solar system. Pulsars are rapidly rotating neutron stars that can easily be spotted from thousands or even millions of light years away. They're often described as cosmic clocks or lighthouses because they're not only extremely bright, but pulsate at very consistent rates. This red line shooting off to the right represents the distance between the Sun and the center of the galaxy, while the green lines represent the relative distance between the Sun and 14 pulsars. To make it easier to identify the pulsars, each line is accompanied by the star's rotation period expressed in binary, marked here in blue. Take this one for instance. This star is known as the Vela pulsar, and it's about 1,000 light-years from Earth. Its rotation period has been expressed in wave periods of the hydrogen line and reads 126,726,823 when translated from binary to decimal. What that means is that it takes the Vela pulsar almost 127 million times longer to to complete one rotation than the wave period of a hydrogen atom undergoing hyperfine transition. In human terms, that's about 8 to 9 million nanoseconds, or 11 rotations every second, which is about this fast. By scouring the galaxy for pulsars that match the information embedded within this map, the aliens could, theoretically, triangulate the solar system. In fact, the chart not only discloses our location in space, but also in time. As Sagan put it,
where we are, when we are, and who we are.
This goes back to the cosmic clock analogy, because pulsars gradually wind down at highly predictable rates. So even though the Vela pulsar will have a much slower rate of spin by the time it's observed by our hypothetical aliens, they could simply wind back the clock until its rotation period matched the one etched into the plaque. Repeating that process for at least some of the other pulsars would enable them to figure out not just from where, but also when Pioneer 10 was launched. At least, that was the idea. But when the plaque was created, the existence of pulsars had only been known for about 4 years. Astronomers have since learned a lot more about them, and they're not nearly as rare, stable, and long-lived as once believed. They can only be observed from very specific vantage points, and unpredictable speed-ups, slowdowns, and glitches challenge the cosmic clock analogy. Sagan and Drake were aware of at least some of these issues, but there was only so much they could have foreseen with the limited data available at the time. In fact, there was such great uncertainty regarding the distance of some of the featured pulsars that they added these breaks in the lines, indicating they're based on rough estimates rather than exact figures. Finally, on the bottom of the plaque, we find a plain schematic of the solar system. These binary numbers represent the orbital distance of each planet, expressed as multiples of 1/10 of the mean distance between the Sun and Mercury. For instance, the number above Earth reads 26 in decimal, which means it is 26 times further away than 10% of the distance between the Sun and Mercury. The obvious problem with this approach is that it requires the recipients to already be familiar with the solar system. Otherwise, 1/10 of the distance between the Sun and Mercury is completely meaningless. We might as well expect them to be familiar with kilometers or miles. To quote the creators of the plaque, "There is no way for this unit of length to be deciphered in the message." It's unclear why the Sagans and Drake knowingly used an indecipherable unit of length when they had already gone through the trouble of creating a universal yardstick with the schematic of hydrogen. My best guess is that the wavelength of a state-shifting hydrogen atom was simply too small a unit to represent interplanetary distances, and the resulting binary strings became too long to neatly fit on the plaque. Again, they only had 3 weeks to do all of this. Last but not least, the trajectory of the spacecraft has been traced with an arrow, and the probe's main antenna is pointing it home. Over half a century later, Pioneer 10 is now more than 20 billion kilometers from the Sun. That might sound like a lot, especially given how I just emphasized that number, but it's only about 3 times further away than Pluto, and it takes less than a day for a light beam to cover the same distance. Even though it's darting through space at several kilometers per second, the probe won't surpass even the nearest star to the Sun for many tens of thousands of years. But it gets worse, because Pioneer 10 is not headed for any particular star. It's expected to pass within a few trillion kilometers of a relatively nearby system in about 90,000 years or so, when this star, all the way out here, will come closer to the Sun than Proxima Centauri is today. While an exoplanet has yet to be detected around this star, if one does exist, and that planet just so happens to be inhabited by intelligent beings in possession of technology that allows them to detect a perfectly silent and practically invisible speck gently gliding by their system at a distance greater than 1,000 times the orbit of Pluto, then yeah, maybe they'll see it. A nearly identical probe was launched in 1973, known as Pioneer 11, and it was outfitted with the exact same plaque as Pioneer 10. Much like its predecessor, Pioneer 11 was just kind of hurtled into deep space with no particular target in mind. While a chance encounter with another planetary system is not impossible, even across timescales of many billions of years, Sagan and Drake believed it was more likely for the probes to be scooped up by an alien spaceship traveling between the stars. Some studies have shown that space is, in fact, a tiny bit big. It's very easy to criticize the Pioneer plaques. Any message designed to be understood by beings of which we know nothing about will unavoidably rely upon assumptions that could easily be false. Will the aliens understand the meaning of an arrow? Will they comprehend binary notation? Will they even grasp the concept of conveying information using two-dimensional pictograms? While questions like these are perfectly valid, they're ultimately quite pointless because the answer is always the same. We don't know. We don't know what the aliens look like, how they think, or even if they exist. The plaque could be so at odds with how they perceive and navigate the universe, they fail to even recognize it as a message. Or we might be foolish for thinking a civilization so technologically advanced they're able to locate and retrieve a derelict spacecraft from the dead of space will be stumped by an interstellar cave painting. While many believe the recipients will be nothing like us, we could just as easily have a lot in common. After all, we share the same universe and are therefore shaped and bound by the same physical laws of nature. In fact, that's what some people fear the most, that the aliens could be just like us, that they could inflict upon us what we inflict upon members of our own species. The Sagans and Drake tried to get ahead of these concerns by emphasizing the improbability of interception. They stressed that even if the probes were to fall into the tentacles of a hostile intelligence in some distant future, they'd be too far away to pose a threat. But statistics and probability only get you so far because fear is a powerful emotion.
And may I say, so that we can have a somewhat warmer and livelier conversation as this meeting goes on, I can conceive of no nightmare as terrifying as establishing such communication with the so-called superior, or if you wish, advanced technology in outer space.
A year after the launch of Pioneer 11, the Arecibo Radio Observatory, located deep within the jungles of Puerto Rico, received a major facelift. The telescope was not only resurfaced to greatly increase its sensitivity, but also outfitted with a powerful transmitter. As it happens, the man in charge of the research center overseeing the facility was none other than Frank Drake. To celebrate the telescope's upgraded capabilities, Drake's assistant, Jane Allen, suggested they transmit an interstellar message during the upcoming rededication ceremony. Unlike the tangible Pioneer plaques, the Arecibo message had to be communicated using invisible radio waves. Drake had previously experimented with the idea of transmitting an image coded in binary, and with the help of some colleagues and graduate students, he came up with this. Now, this may not look like much, but if we fill in all the zeros with black squares and all the ones with white squares, a highly pixelated image will emerge. I'll explain the different parts in just a moment, but first, it's important to understand how an image like this is converted into radio waves. It starts with a grid that in this case is 23 columns wide and 73 rows tall for a total of 1,679 cells. We then fill in the cells needed to create the image. Because the image is composed of only two shades, black and white, that means it's binary, and each cell can also be described as a binary digit, or bit for short. By convention, binary code is expressed using zeros and ones, but it works just as well with two different shapes, two different colors, two different rocks, or literally any combination of two contrasting values. In fact, that's why binary code is so frequently used to write interstellar messages. It's not because aliens are guaranteed to understand it. No, it's simply one of the least complicated methods of conveying information that we can imagine. Chinese is composed of thousands of characters, English has 26 letters, while decimal demands 10 unique numerals. Binary only requires two. Not two letters, not two symbols, literally just two of something, which we call bits. For instance, instead of black and white squares, we could just as easily express this bitmap using two different frequencies. If a cell is black, that's one frequency. If it's white, that's another. There you go, that's all there's to it. This long sequence of two flip-flopping frequencies can now be transmitted using a radio telescope. When that signal is picked up by an alien astronomer, they may find it difficult to ascribe such an unnatural pattern to a natural source. This will hopefully draw attention to the number of frequency fluctuations because 1679 is what's known as a semi-prime. It's disappointingly not the half-brother of Optimus Prime, but rather the product of precisely two prime numbers. In this case, those prime numbers are 23 and 73, which happens to be the dimensions of the original grid. If the aliens were to plot the frequencies onto a grid of that size and fill in all the cells occupied by one of the values, they would uncover the image. As for the contents of the message, it starts off easy enough with the numbers 1 through 10 expressed in binary and written from right to left. So 001, 010, 011, and so on. Moving on to this large cluster of pixels, we find a bunch of binary formulations for the building blocks of life as we know it. It starts with the atomic numbers of 5 basic elements: hydrogen, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, and phosphorus. These numbers are then used to describe essential components of DNA. For instance, a carbon atom has 6 protons, which means it has an atomic number of 6. 0110 is binary for decimal 6. Because carbon is in the second column from the right, it means the second column of these molecules underneath indicates how many carbon atoms they contain. So these 4 represent an organic compound known as deoxyribose, which has 5 carbon atoms, and 101 is binary for decimal 5. In the center of the image, we find a crude rendition of the DNA double helix enclosing a large binary value denoting the number of nucleotide base pairs in the human genome. In simpler terms, it's a way of expressing the complexity or size of our genetic makeup. However, more recent measurements have since reduced that number by over 1 billion, so this figure is no longer accurate. A bit further down, we find a simple sketch of a human alongside an expression of their height on the right and the estimated global population in 1974 on the left. Directly underneath the human is a schematic of the solar system, followed by an illustration of the Arecibo telescope. Now, you might be wondering, how the hell were the aliens supposed to understand any of that? The simple answer is, they weren't really. Unlike the Pioneer Plaque's commendable attempt to establish some sort of common ground using shared units of measurement and a galactic map of pulsars, the Arecibo message was much more of a publicity stunt. For instance, the length of the message was largely determined by the presumed attention span of those invited to the rededication ceremony. The concern was that if the message was too long, attendees might be annoyed by the sound of the transmission, which was planned to be broadcast over loudspeakers at the event. In the end, the message was constrained to about 3 minutes to mitigate the risk of a dull afternoon. Likewise, the selection of a target for the transmission was entirely dictated by what happened to be visible in the sky during the ceremony. Drake ultimately selected a bright cluster of stars known as Messier 13, which is about 24,000 light-years from Earth. While this meant the message would take 24,000 years to reach its destination, the density of M13 also meant the signal could sweep over many thousands of stars upon arrival. At the time, this was thought to maximize the odds of the transmission being received, and Carl Sagan even told a reporter that he believed there was a 50% chance that M13 was home to an alien civilization. But as it turns out, more stars does not necessarily mean more opportunities for life. Not only are globular clusters like M13 typically starved of heavier elements essential for planetary formation, but the proximity of the stars makes it challenging for any planets that do form to maintain stable orbits. Considering it took billions of years before humans evolved on Earth, a region as densely packed and chaotic as M13 is probably not the most conducive environment for life as we know it. While there is some optimism that small planets like Earth could survive in very tight orbits, out of 6,000 exoplanets discovered to date, only 2 are located within a globulus. Nevertheless, on November the 16th, 1974, a small crowd of astronomers, dignitaries, and others bopped along to a 3-minute concert of 2 warbling tones as humanity's first interstellar radio telegram was beamed into space. A common misconception about the Arecibo message is that it will miss its target because the telescope was aimed at the position of M13 at the time of transmission rather than where it will be in 24,000 years. In reality, when Drake crunched the numbers back in 1974, he realized that the cluster is so enormous and slow-moving that even if they aimed the telescope at its location at the time, the message would simply strike slightly off-center rather than a bullseye. Presuming against all odds that M13 is home to an alien civilization in possession of an extremely sensitive instrument that's not only designed to pick up radio waves at the exact same frequency and bandwidth at which the Arecibo message was transmitted, but also pointed squarely at the solar system at just the right time, Messerian astronomers will have a non-zero chance to detect a non-repeating burst of energy lasting for less than 3 minutes, some 24,000 years from now. Even though they're unlikely to decode the message, they might still suspect it's an attempt at communication. It's a bit like, even if you don't speak Swedish, så kan du fortfarande förstå att någon försöker kommunicera. If they suspect it's a transmission from another civilization, the aliens may choose to respond. Presuming there's no way to overcome the speed of light, such a response would obviously take just as long to reach us as it took the Arecibo message to reach them. Based on the most recent measurements of the distance between the solar system and M13, the earliest possible date we can expect a reply is the year 50,370. Don't forget to mark your calendars. There are even more hopelessly optimistic scenarios like a star or spaceship crossing paths with a signal somewhere along the way, but the odds of that happening are so vanishingly small it might as well be impossible. Not least of all because, as you can see, M13 is actually floating far above the galactic disk, and there's a whole lot of nothing in between. But once again, these astronomical improbabilities were not enough to allay concerns of an alien invasion. A prominent radio astronomer in Britain at the time, Sir Martin Ryle, feared the Arecibo message might attract a more advanced civilization seeking to colonize the Earth and mine its resources. He took issue with the fact that a small group of people had transmitted a message that could endanger all of humanity and called for an international discussion in advance of any future transmissions. While these concerns largely fell on deaf ears at the time, Ryle was far from the only one urging caution.
While the target star cluster in this instance is so far away that no reply would be received for 48,000 years, the temptation will be great to send more messages to closer stars. Have we really thought through the possible consequences of calling ourselves to the attention of a civilization superior to our own?
By the mid-1970s, NASA was gearing up to launch 2 spacecraft known as Voyager 1 and 2. Much like the Pioneer probes before them, the Voyager twins would be slingshot into deep space by Granddaddy Jupiter on their way to explore the outer solar system. Due to the similarity between the 2 programs and the public interest generated by the Pioneer plaques, NASA engineer John Cassani thought a similar message ought to be carried by the Voyagers. When Cassani reached out to Carl Sagan in late 1976, he jumped at the chance to scribe another cosmic postcard. But this time he wanted to impress upon the recipients not just how we think, but also how we feel. After consulting numerous people on how to proceed, 2 propositions stood above the rest: music and pictures. Sagan was partial to music, while fellow astronomer Frank Drake thought nothing could capture the human condition like a series of photographs. After some additional brainstorming, it was Drake who finally realized they could accommodate both ideas using a phonograph record. A phonograph record is an analog storage medium primarily used to record and replay sound. To record, you simply press a needle against the surface of a slow-spinning disc. By generating a sound like strumming a guitar, the needle will start to vibrate as it carves a thin, undulating groove into the disc. To replay the sound, you simply create a copy of the disc using a less malleable material, place the needle back at the beginning of the groove, and spin the disc back up again. As the needle collides with the hundreds of microscopic indentations in the groove, it generates the same vibrations used to create it. When those vibrations reach your ears, you'll hear a guitar being strummed. The process is a bit more complicated in practice, of course, but honestly, not by much. Whether it's a single vibrating guitar string or the deafening crescendo of an entire orchestra, all of it can be recorded and replayed by tiny bumps in a groove. Yes, magic is real, and this is it. But what about photographs? How do you get visual information onto a storage medium made for sound? It's surprisingly simple, actually. Remember how the Arecibo message painted a picture by treating black and white squares as two different frequencies? I mean, it would be a bit concerning if you don't. That was like 12 minutes ago. You better get that checked out. Anyway, they basically did that, but instead of just two frequencies, they used a whole range of them. Take a gradient like this, for instance. If we assign a low frequency to black and a high frequency to white, then every shade of gray in between will be mapped to a corresponding frequency of sound. With that translation scheme in mind, converting an entire photograph becomes trivial. For instance, this is a black and white image of Mercury that's actually on the record. All we have to do is scan every pixel in this image, one by one, column by column, and translate every shade of gray into its audible equivalent. Once we've translated every frequency of light into a frequency of sound, we end up with a brief sample of incoherent noise that acts like an acoustic fingerprint of the image. Again, I'm simplifying a lot here, and the actual process used analog signals rather than quantized pixel values, but it gives you a rough idea of how it was done. Some photographs were actually recorded 3 times in a row using filters for red, green, and blue. When recombined in just the right way, they produce an image full of vibrant colors, even though individually they're all black and white. Again, magic is real. In an effort to save space, they also recorded 2 simultaneous streams of images into the same groove. This was accomplished by using the side-to-side motion of the needle to record one stream and the up and down motion to record another. The end result was this echoey stereo sound of 2 image streams playing at once. To provide the aliens with the best possible chance of decoding this cryptic disc of gold-plated copper, the record's aluminum cover was engraved with some basic instructions. First of all, the pulsar map makes a return, and so too does the diagram showing the hyperfine transition of neutral hydrogen, the latter of which is once again used to establish a shared unit of both time and length. Near the top left, we find an overhead view of the record, circumscribed by a binary number. It's telling the aliens to spin the record about 5 billion times faster than the hyperfine transition period. In human terms, that's equivalent to roughly 1 rotation every 3.6 seconds. To ensure the aliens have something with which to play the record, a ceramic cartridge holding a diamond-tipped needle was attached to the mounting bracket. An outline of this cartridge has also been drawn along the right edge here to indicate the playback starting position. Underneath the overhead view, there's also a side view, accompanied by another binary number. This time, it's telling the aliens how long it takes to play one full side of the record, which is about 54 minutes. Moving on to the top right, we find a step-by-step guide for decoding the images. The waveform at the very top corresponds to 3 vertical slices of the record's first image, while the zigzag pattern underneath means the slices are meant to be stacked side by side, one after the other. As we already know, this angelic symphony of beeps and buzzings are mapped to different shades of gray according to a very specific translation scheme. A scheme the aliens are meant to reverse engineer with the help of these binary numbers. There are 3 slices labeled 1, 2, 3, and each one corresponds to roughly 8 milliseconds of audio. A full image is 5